and welcome back to Lone Wolf, The Jungle of Horrors, Book 8 of the series. We had one go at this for like 2 hours, no success. This one's a nasty one. Like, there's no... I didn't find any good way to avoid 2 very tough fights. Which would kind of mean you really need good combat, but... Let's have a look. So we've started again with... terrible combat. Oh, I didn't even take a sword. So... I don't know. See, the problem is when we get to... Tharo. So the first part of the book is to get to Tharo. When we get to Tharo, we want to avoid the monastery. Because if we go to the monastery, we have to fight the Helghast, and the Helghast is ridiculously strong. Like, even if you have max combat skill, you're still not favored in that battle, so I don't know what... Like, unless you have the Summer Sword, but... We lost the Summer Sword a long time ago, so, I don't know. Try again. Alright, so... Starting... If we go on the boat, we end up fighting the Necromancer. Like, I don't think you can really avoid that. So... You do get a lot of money though, but like... Okay, we definitely can't fight him with this combat skill, so... So we'll go on the road. Alright, so if we stop at the inn... We need to eat food. Otherwise they get mad and try to kill me, which is a bit ridiculous. So we'll buy some food and ale. Alright. So far so good. The dwarf draws 2 flagons of ale and a brace of wheat cakes from the counter. That'll be 15 loon all told, he says, pushing 2 carved wooden platters with their mouth-watering cargoes a little closer. You flick open your belt pouch and take out 4 crowns. This should cover it, you say, sliding the gold coins across the bar. Oh, we said that? We don't often talk in this series. He tests them between his teeth before nodding his approval. No offense to you 2 gentlemen, you understand, but I've been caught with snide coinage before, and it's made me a mite careful, like. These be Desi mint, if I'm not mistaken, he inquires, his eyes twinkling at the thought of hearing tales of that distant magical land. Could be, says Pydo guardedly. The coins of Magnamund mix freely in Garthan's markets. There's no telling when those 4 last saw their birthplace. How about you, innkeeper? You interrupt, steering conversation away from Desi. You're no native Telestrian. When did you last see your homeland? The dwarf's face beams as he prepares to talk on his favorite subject, himself. By the time you have finished your food and ale, you've heard the life story of Lardin, son of Cardan of Bor. What news have you of Lukos? Asks Pydo as the dwarf takes a rare pause for breath. News of a kind that's become and only too familiar around these parts, he replies in a disgruntled tone. But that Zergron's bitten off more than he can chew this time. Once Lord Adamas and the army boys come down on him, he'll wish he'd stayed in his stinking city of Xanar, mark my words. Don't be too sure of that, Lardin, says a rosy-faced farmer who is sidled along the bar to within earshot of your conversation. My sister reckons that this time Zegron won't stop till he's flattened everything between Lukos and the Tentarius. That stargazing sister of yours is full of good news, retorts the dwarf. When has she ever seen anything cheerful with her telescopes and charts and crystal balls, eh? Oh, the sister is the, fortune teller. Answer me that. Agreement rumbles from the tavern crowd, now openly listening to the discussion. That's us maybe, says the farmer. But when has she ever been wrong, eh? An uncomfortable silence fills the inn. Slowly the crowd return to their own business. No one, least of all the innkeeper, chooses to dwell on the matter any further. Well, we know where she lives. She lives in... somewhere south. Oena? No, further south. Let's ask them anyway. Tadia still lives with her mother at the ferry house. Why would they not put this on the map? So they've got the map like this. They have this whole northern part in the map, even though I don't think we're going to go there. And they miss off most of the areas we go to, which are actually... here. So right now we are at Scarthen? No. We're on the road. We're on this road. And I think there's the ferry house there. Ferry house is right next to Thara. But... alright, whatever. Tadia still lives with her mother at Ferry House, replies the farmer. 5 miles north of here, and there's a junction where track heads east. The signpost there says to Topham. A mile past Topham, you come to Ferry House on the banks of the River Thorin. If it's her counsel you're after, you'd better take plenty of gold. She won't charge a high price for her crystal gazing. You thank the farmer for his advice and suggest to Paido that the time has come to continue your journey north. As you're about to leave, the farmer calls out, by the way, you'd best tell her Jacko sent you. She don't take kindly to folks who drop by uninvited. We didn't do that last time. But we don't have 20 gold for it anyway. Alright. Alright, we've been here before. So we are... this is really stupid, this map. Like, it's... yeah, we're not on the map. We have to use this map, which is not official. So we're on this road. Ah, so Topham's here. Oh, so we're actually very close to Thara. Alright, well we could go there, but we don't have money for the fortune teller, so I don't know what we're gonna do. So yeah, we were here before, but we didn't have the divination before. The monks are communicating telepathically. Although you do not recognize the language they are using in their mind speech, you sense that they are anxious and uneasy in your presence. The monks of Telestria are infamous for their gluttony. Tales of their 30-course meals and week-long banquets are well known throughout Magnemont. However, despite their voluminous robes, you cannot help but notice how emaciated these monks appear to be. Alright, we can pay the respects to the deceased, even though we don't know the deceased. It seems almost... oh no. At your approach, the monks step back from the grave and draw themselves into a line. These monks too? Just don't trust monks anywhere. Their hooded heads stay bowed and their hands remain hidden inside the generous folds of their robes. You ask the name of the unfortunate deceased, but the echo of your voice and the constant drip of the steady rain is your only answer. All at once, as if in response to a silent signal, the monks throw back their hoods to reveal ghastly, fleshless faces. By the gods, gasps Paido. They emit a hideous shriek, panicking the horses. As you fight to control your frightened animal, the skeletal monks spring forward to attack. We don't even have a weapon. Oh my god. Minus 13? And it would be worse if we didn't have animal control. Oh my god. Alright, we've lost this. There's no way we're winning. Dead. We actually stood a chance there, weirdly. Hello, DJ. Yep, I just died right now. We surprisingly did more damage to them, though. was against the odds. Alright, start again. This book is tough because there's two big fights that are kind of... I don't see an obvious way to avoid them. And you need to have almost max combat skill, or like even with max combat skill, it seems slightly tipped against you, so I don't know. Are we done with the Riverboat book? The one from the other day? No. I'm on... So this is the Jungle of Horrors. I'm trying to remember which... No, the last time you visited was... The one with the big tentacle monster that came out of the lake, right? I've done that one, yeah. I think I didn't take too many tries on that one. That one was actually okay. Bit tough, but it was alright. This one's really nasty, though. I've had a few attempts at this one. Last I remember was we helped a merc crew steal a boat after a pirate attack. But that was an even earlier one. Hang on, I can actually bring this up. Let's check. So Magnakai started with the Kingdoms of Terror, then Castle Death, then Jungle of Horrors, which I'm on now. I think you're talking about the Kingdoms of Terror. Yeah. That's where that was where the pirate attack was. No, but I remember you were also here for Castle Death. That was where we arrive at this big lake, and then there's a huge tentacle monster that comes out and attacks us. Anyway, we're on Jungle of Horrors, and we have yet to even make it to the jungle. If we can even reach the jungle, I don't know. The map they give us doesn't even cover most of where we are, so we start... Technically, we start all the way over here. So, the last book I was on was here, Kazan-Ud. There was this mysterious castle in the middle of a lake, protected by a shield, and we went in there. And then they throw... The guy throws us in his maze, and we have to solve his maze, and then get out. And then they take us on a boat journey all the way here to here. But we start the book, like, just landing here. So now we've got to go into the Danag, which is supposed to be a jungle, although the colors used on the map don't really indicate that. But yeah, this is a jungle, apparently. And I've had multiple attempts at this, and I've only managed to get to, like, Tharo, which is this city here, because we keep getting killed by random people. You just can't trust strangers. And just now I got killed by some monks. The funniest bit was on the first attempt. You stop at an inn. That's like basically page 2. And then they ask you what you want to do. Do you want to hang your clothes by the fire, or do you want to eat food? If you don't choose eat food, they basically try to kill you because your friend pulls out his own food and starts eating it. And then the innkeeper's like, you can't eat your own food here. And then they literally start trying to kill you. It's ridiculous. Okay, good combat skill. Let's see if that's enough. And what's worse is they shoot you with a poisoned crossbow bolt, so even if you win the battle, you're like poisoned and you die within 2 days if you don't cure it. Alright, so we've got good combat skill. We might as well go with sword, bow, axe. You would think an axe would be good for the jungle, right? But probably not even going to make it to the jungle. So we'll take a weapon, curing, alright, I'm going to take Sai Shield because the Helghast is such a nasty fight that we lose 2 health every turn. So I'll use side screen to avoid that. But that means we're sacrificing 1 combat skill. That's fine. Alright, so we'll take sword, a bow, and a quiver. And lantern and rope. Alright, plenty of money. Alright. Starting again. Oh, I didn't increase the death count. Alright. So we start and we decide whether to go by boat or on foot. And if you go by boat, it's pretty good because it takes you basically we start here. It takes you all the way to Tharo. Pretty straightforwardly. But there's a huge battle on the way. If we go by road, I think you can avoid battles. We'll go by boat because I've got good combat this time. So we go by boat. We look inside our cabin. We find a potion. Sure, we'll take it. Then we go to the inn on board. Make sure we got our tavern music on. Don't take the ball brew or we pass out. Take the chai chia. And then we meet a soldier and hang out with him, and then a riddler comes in to do a show, and he asks us a bunch of riddles. Oh, these riddles took me a long time to work out, but I remember the answers. The first one is 16. The next one is 59. That one's easy. And the next one is 7. We get a silver box. Alright, now we stop at Honey Lodge, which is... Oh, it's right here. So we're so close to Tharo right now. Oh, damn it. I thought ice cream would help here, but we're not. We have to have 2 ranks. Oh, that's ridiculous. Alright. So some mysterious guy on board the ship and hurts us mentally as he boards, just by looking at us. It turns out he's a necromancer and he's wanted, and for 10,000 loon. That's like 5,000 gold. But fine, we'll attack him. I don't think you can even avoid attacking him. So he turns the soldier into a bunch of boils and kills him. Now we'll use the bow. And hit him. Alright, see, it's still a -5 even with this, but we get half damage because our friend is helping us, so it should be okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright, so we kill him. We take his book. Alright, so we arrive in Tharo. So that very quickly gets us to Tharo. Now, the problem is, we want to avoid ending up at the monastery. And several paths lead to the monastery. Because the monastery is basically just a fight I can't win. So, we could try going to... I don't know, where did I go before? Or try go to... I think I probably went to Copper Piece Lane before. Let's go to Globe Walk. I might have been here before. An alley that goes beyond the shadows. It disappears among the shadows. Let's have a look at the alley. Night is closing in, and the shops that line the narrow street are shutting their doors. Lanterns flare into life, their yellow glow warming the chill west wind as the townsfolk return to their homes at the end of another day's trading. But there is one shop where the doors remain open. The sign hanging from its balcony reads, Roller Rada, Map Maker. Sure, let's check it out. You're welcomed by an attractive young woman with long jet black hair woven into a single plait that reaches almost to her waist. She is dressed in green tweed cloth tunic, similar to your own, and wears soft calfskin gloves. In addition to the maps, which she researches and draws herself, she also sells all manner of hunting and scouting equipment. And back in these medieval days, a map maker would be such an interesting profession to have. She also sells all manner of hunting and scouting equipment. She takes an obvious delight in her work and shows you samples of her maps, which are excellent for their accuracy and attention to detail. You ask her if she has ever prepared a map of the Denarg, and she turns strangely silent. Tears begin to fill her dark eyes as she recalls how she and her father once explored beyond the fringes of that fearsome domain. They had planned to map its internal waterways and, if luck was with them, discover the lost temple of the Elder Magi. With sadness, she tells of her father's death in the jaws of a monster that had stalked them from the moment they had entered the jungle swamp. She escaped, but not unscathed. As she fought to free her father from the mouth of the beast, she was badly burned by its caustic saliva. Carefully, she removes one of her calfskin gloves and reveals an injured hand. The sight of the angry red scar tissue fills you with compassion for this brave young woman. I need to know more. Unfortunately, she lost all her maps and equipment while escaping from the Denarg. However, she clearly recalls seeing the Temple of Orido from the peak of a hill she calls the Scarlet Tor, which is situated on an island of firm ground 30 miles beyond the Siada track. You thank her for her help and wish her good fortune before leaving the shop and continuing on your way. Oh, we're here now. Temple of the Sword. We do not want to go to the temple. That is just death. Go to the watchtower, but I don't think they're going to let us in. If we show them the past, they just tell us it's a forgery, even though it's not. Damn it! And then we just go to the Temple of the Sword. Ugh. Alright. So we're in the monastery. And they're feeding us food. Don't eat the food because it just drugs us. But we can't tell our friend not to eat the meal. He eats the meal. Or maybe I should come with divination next time. Don't know what that does. And then our friend passes out. We do have ice cream this time. Have I done this before? You close your eyes and summon the power of your discipline. Drawing on your psychic reserve, you project a mental barrier to deflect the attack. Instantly, the pressure in your head decreases and the pain subsides, releasing your senses from the icy paralysis of psychic shock. Suddenly, the attack breaks off, the abruptness of its passing leaving you reeling. As you open your eyes, you see at once the reason why the attack has ceased. Oh, we fight him anyway. We don't have the Summer Sword, because who's going to still have the Summer Sword from Book 2 by now? They'd have to survive like 6 books. That's ridiculous. If we use the bow, that doesn't really do anything, because he's immune to normal weapons. Dive to the floor, I guess. We have to take Paido's sword because it's magical. We can only fight him with magical swords. Okay, -7. not too bad. I guess it's because I protected myself with the side screen. Or, okay, -7 is, I mean, it's bad, but it's winnable. It's still quite bad, though. We've got 26. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, fuck off. Alright, we're gonna lose this. No. A -7 is as good as I can hope for here. Damn it. All roads lead to this bloody monastery, but... See, if we didn't have side screen, we would lose 2 more endurance every round, which would be pretty bad. It says if you've completed the Law Circle of the Spirit, you get 2 more combat. What's the Spirit? Maybe we should go for that next time. Alright, well that's dead. Zero combat skill. I don't know how to avoid that. We've got to find a way to avoid him. Like, can we just not go to Tharo? I don't see any other path. Alright, well, we're not fighting, so... Let's think. Fury. What was the Law Circle they mentioned? Law Circle... Circle of the Spirit, but that's 4, so we can't do that. This book. Maybe if we take Divination. Like, there was a Divination option. I don't know what that would do. Let's say Curing. Divination. Side screen? No, because we just don't want to fight him at... Oh, okay, yeah, take side screen. Alright, just take... Bow, quiver, lantern, rope, potion. Alright, so we don't want to go on the boat, because can't really fight the... Is there no way to avoid the Necromancer at all? It means you get so much money from the boat. No, we'll go on the road. Alright, so if we stop at the inn, you must buy food and ale or he tries to kill you, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. So we buy food and... What? So then we ask about the fortune teller. And now we can go east here. Now ignore these monks, because otherwise they just try to kill you, because literally everyone's trying to kill you. Then we get to Ferry House. So if we look in the Ferry House, we meet the fortune teller. And it's the same as before, but this time we've actually met Jacko, which is like her sister. So, will it be the same as before? Ah, so meeting her sister means we don't have to pay for her services, which was quite steep. It was like 20 gold. And we can take all this stuff. So we'll take it all. Oh, maybe this is the way to do it, but if we get good combat skill next time, because then we get this potion which gives us +2 combat skill. Do I have more weapons? What have I got? Oh, we got broadsword, okay. Can't afford the boat though, so we go this way, and then oh, they love their riddles, don't they? Then this town won't even let us pass unless we answer their riddle. What was the answer to this? So 1 brick equals 3/4 of a pound plus 3/4 of a brick. So subtract 3/4 of a brick from both sides, you get 1/4 brick equals 3/4 pound. So 1 brick equals 3 pounds. Correct. And then we show him the pass. I'll go to Copper Piece Lane. It doesn't matter where we go. We're always going to end up at that bloody monastery. Oh, this is the archer's shop. The Fletcher's shop. We've already got the important things for bow. Oh, we'll have a look. I don't know what these things do. We can get a wrist and finger guard. We carry on. Follow the soldiers into the courtyard. If we do that, then then they attack us because they think we reach into our pocket to pull out our pass, and then they attack us because they think we're drawing a weapon. It's really stupid. Was there an option? Let me do this again. Let's see if there was a different option. So if we try to pull out our pass, he just attacks us. Let's just ask him. Field Warden Neathra ain't here. This is the town jail, retorts the guard, narrowing his eyes suspiciously as he inspects first you, and then Paido, as if you were both escaped felons. At the end of Copper Piece Lane, next to the Templar's Sword, there's a tower. That's where you'll find the Shield Warden. Only you had better have good reason for wanting him at this hour, or you'll both end up spending the night here. He cocks his thumb over his shoulder at the jail, and a sneer spreads across his ugly face. You follow Paido out of the courtyard and continue your ride along Copper Piece Lane. Oh, not the bloody temple! But if we go to the watchtower, we don't have any option. What happens if I show him the pass? They say the pass is valid, but they still don't let me in because it's like... What? Let's try again. He says come back tomorrow, and then we go to the bloody monastery. Oh, and here we are again. We use the bow. Interesting. We might be able to escape here. We can either fire our bow at the remaining black-robed monk, or demand that he lets us leave. Oh, I don't know. If we... Just shoot him. We've been here before, haven't we? Kaido basically passes out. And then we gotta fight this guy. There's gotta be a way. We've tried using the bow. We tried diving to the floor. Alright, let's deflect the fireball. Why not? Drop a weapon before continuing. Okay. Wait, let's read this first. You strike the glowing ball of flame and an explosion flings you against the wall of the refectory. Your weapon has disintegrated and you have suffered severe burns to your arms and body. Lose 8 endurance, blah blah blah. Sore and bloodied, you drag yourself to your feet in time to see the Helghast preparing to launch another fireball. This time the target is your head. Okay, well, we'll get rid of the broadsword, I suppose. We can't attack the Helghast with a normal weapon. Alright, we'll dive again. And now we're in this situation. Minus 18, we've lost. Oh my god, we actually did damage to him. Wait. It's a bit late now. I would have lost anyway. I could use the this, but it won't make much difference. That's minus 16. Dead. This is... There's gotta be a way. Okay, there's one option I didn't try. That might avoid fighting him. I feel like there's not a lot of choice in this book. Oh my god, sorry. Please, just give me good combat skill. 2! What option did I have there? So we could have commanded the monk to step aside for us. Alright, so if we want to go try that, we definitely want divination. And size screen. And I guess we always take curing, so we'll take curing. Alright, so we do want the... Wait, so the... The fortune teller gives us weapons anyway. She gives us a bow and quiver, doesn't she? Does she? No. We'll take the bow and quiver. Lantern and the rope and potion. Oh, the fire seed. Yeah, I want the fire seed. Hello, Wugger. I'm having a lot of trouble with this book. It seems all roads lead to this bloody Helghast, which is like a ghoul, which has ridiculously high combat. Trying to try every branch to see if I can get past him, but no matter what I do, we're always like, hey, let's stop at this temple for the night. And that's the temple where they tried to drug us. Alright, let's try again. Alright, we've got crappy combat skills, so... Alright, so... We go on foot. Stop at the inn. Pay for the food, otherwise he tries to kill us. Ask where his sister lives. So that gets us a free fortune telling. Then go to Topham. Ignore the monks because they'll just kill us. Check the ferry house. We've met his sister. We've met the fortune teller's sister, so we can avoid paying her 20 gold. And now she just gives us all this stuff. Okay, good. We need it. And then we can't take the boat, so we go on foot. And then this guy stops us and we have to answer a riddle to carry on. Oh, fine. I wish tolls worked like this in the real world. Just answer riddles to pass. The answer was 3. Show him our pass. Oh, maybe we should not show him our pass next time. Like, not be allowed in the town. Because if we're not allowed in the town, then we won't end up at that bloody temple again. Next time, I'm just not going to show him my pass. Alright, so when we go to... Doesn't matter where we go. Hogfoot Run. Check the magic shop. Exchange it for a lodestone, a jeweled mace, or silver helm. Don't have those things. Wait. We're not taking the ring. We can't. Alright. No, don't go in the temple. Doesn't matter what I do. We're going to end up at the temple. If we avoid this... We can actually go back and forth here until we're fully healed. We're gonna have to enter the temple. Alright, then they give us the drugged food. We refuse to eat it. Use the bow. Alright, so we tried that. Let's just demand that he lets us leave. The monk utters a thin but chilling laugh in reply to your demand. What do you want with us? Shouts Paido, his voice sharp and threatening. The monk offers no reply. Instead, he stands motionless and silent, his eyes fixed firmly on you. And then Paido passes out again, and this is as before, and then this happens, and then... Doesn't matter what we do here. Shoot him with the bow. Minus 16, we're dead. Like, I don't see any way. Okay, next time I'm just gonna ban myself from entering the town. I could throw my pass on the ground somewhere so that I literally don't have a pass. Alright, well, there's a chance. No, dead. Oh, insta-death. If we roll a 9 for combat, there is a chance of winning that combat. Even with max combat skill, it's still a bit... I think it's probably like 50-50 at that point. Alright, again. Two. Alright, we're gonna not go in the town. Alright, curing. I don't know, divination. Craftsmanship. Alright, let's try those 3. Alright. Terrible money. Take the bow and the quiver and the lantern and the rope and the potion. No. Take the fire seed. Alright. Again. Alright. Go on foot. Stop at the inn. Buy food and ale. Do this. Go to Topham. Ignore them. Go to the ferry house. He gives you all this stuff. Don't take the boat. Alright. Don't show him our pass. You sense that the guard has taken a dislike to you. The attack on Lukos has made the Darrow garrison more suspicious than usual, and rather than risk allowing 2 possible spies into the stronghold, he turns you away. Go back to Foena, if that's where you've come from, he shouts. We've no welcome here for strangers. It will soon be dark. You, Paido, and the horses need food and rest, but there is scant hope of finding either on the darkening plain that surrounds Thara. Look for another entrance to the town? No, I don't want to go in the town, because there's only death awaits us in there. Let's camp out on the plain. Ooh, this looks promising, actually. You spend a cold, wet, and thoroughly miserable night on the plain south of Thara. A fresh storm rolls in from the west, making it impossible to light a fire or dry your already damp clothing. It is dawn when the rain finally eases off, but the storm gives way to a biting wind that chills you to the bone. You must now eat a meal, blah blah. Alright, the garrison of Tharo still refuses to allow you into the town, so you're forced to set off towards a line of distant hills that fills the northern horizon. Please just leave the town and don't come back. 1 second. Alright. Grey-brown grasses brush your shins as you cross this wild, uncultivated plain, encroaching on the deserted track that leads to the frontier town of Ciada. An eerie, unnatural silence accompanies your ride, broken only by the rare cawing of ravens, circling high overhead. By midday, you are deep among the hills. The terrain becomes increasingly rocky, undulating like a storm-tossed ocean. Tall plains grass has given way to sad little plants, scraggy and deformed, stunted by the winds that sweep down from the barren wastes of Ogia. The track passes through a narrow valley where a small stone cabin stands beside the entrance to a disused mine. As you approach, you see a face at the cabin window. Sure, let's stop at the cabin. You peer through the tiny, circular window where you saw the face, but the gloomy interior looks deserted. The stone cabin consists of 2 rooms, one at the front and one at the rear. Anyone at home? You call in a friendly voice, but you receive no reply. This is weird. It's having us actually say stuff. In the previous books, we rarely ever actually spoke. With quotation marks. Silently, you motion to Paido to investigate the rear of the hut while you enter at the front door. You sense that someone is hiding behind the door, literally putting words in your mouth. Yeah, it feels a bit weird now. Like, it just feels like now that I'm finally speaking, I just sound like really dorky or something. I guess it's because I have a partner with me for this book. We've never actually had a partner with us before, so we're not the lone wolf this time. He or she is armed and intends to attack you as you enter the hut. Alright, we're not entering then. Like, we don't have a hand weapon. Oh, we do actually. We're not entering. Seconds later, you hear the crash of broken furniture as a fight breaks out inside the cabin. Kaido has surprised your would-be assailant. See, the problem with this book is that you don't really have much agency, you don't have much choice, because even when you try to avoid doing things, Kaido, your partner, goes and does them anyway. In fact, there have been several situations where I wanted to avoid something or do something, and Kaido screws everything up. Like, I go to the inn, and I don't order any food, and then Kaido pulls food out of his pocket, and then the innkeeper tries to kill us because we're eating our own food instead of buying from the inn. Bloody Kaido. I go to the monastery. I choose not to eat the food, which I know is drugged, but Kaido goes and eats the food. Get on the boat. I try to avoid fighting the necromancer, although it doesn't seem to be a way to avoid fighting the necromancer anyway. But of course, Kaido runs in there with his sword. Can we get rid of this bloody Kaido? Maybe it's better to let him die so we can continue as the lone wolf. Kaido has surprised your would-be assailant, and the two of them are now locked in hand-to-hand combat. Abruptly, the noise ceases, and Kaido appears at the front door, sweating and disheveled, his sword bloodied in his hand. And Kaido ends up like just fighting everyone we come across. "Where have you been?" he asks, stepping aside to allow you to enter. The scar-faced man lies dead on the floor, a wooden stave lying across his chest. "Come and see what I found in the back room." We've literally just invaded, we've just trespassed in this person's hut and killed him. Like, he had every right to defend the front door, to be fair. Like, we can't just walk into someone's house. But apparently we've done that now. So we might as well ransack it. Well, that's very... I mean, on this occasion, I tried not to. I chose the option to leave it, but Kaido went in through the back door and... Well, we might as well take the silver then. I don't think he's left it for his children or anything. Small sacks, each filled with nuggets of silver, are stacked in a huge mound that reaches almost to the ceiling. Seriously? No wonder he fought so desperately. You say, staring at this treasure hoard. There's enough silver here to pay a king's ransom. You may have to do that one day. You may take some treasure before you leave. Each sack of silver counts as one backpack item. Wait, how many sacks of silver can we take? Take it all. I mean, we can't really sell it for money, but we don't need half this stuff. We don't really need these potions. Get rid of that. Actually, yeah. Take lots of sacks of silver. In theory, you can have up to 8 sacks of silver. They're probably just trolling us. Like, there's probably no use for sacks of silver. We're just going to go on an adventure into the jungle carrying, like, a huge load of silver with us for no reason. Alright. Investigate the mine. Or continue along the valley. We have a lantern and a rope. Those are useful in mines. Go on then. An old wooden board nailed across the entrance to the shaft warns you to stay away. This silver mine was closed down shortly after the main tunnel collapsed. 20 miners were buried alive, and their names are carved into the pit props that surround the entrance to the shaft as a memorial. As you scan the list of names, you hear the tap of a hammer breaking stone in the depths of the shaft. I was about to say we'll just leave the mining and move on, but if there's someone actually in there, maybe we should actually try and save them. What's going to happen? They just give us more silver? I don't know. Alright, we'll see. We'll enter the mine. You duck under the board and step into the gloom, taking care to tread lightly around the mounds of rubble and pools of water that obscure the tunnel floor. Soon the light from the entrance fades into total darkness. Ahead, the sound of hammering continues. We do have the lantern. In the flickering light, you see that the large section of the tunnel floor ahead has collapsed. Gingerly, you edge around the deep hole and continue along the passage. Steadily, the hammering grows louder until you arrive at a new tunnel branching off to the left. Recent excavation has exposed a rich vein of silver ore that glitters brightly. As you peer down this new shaft, you see a dwarf in a miner's hat hammering at the ore with a mattock. Call to him, I guess? The dwarf stops hammering. "Is that you, Filcher?" he asks, squinting along the tunnel. When he realizes you are not Filcher, he curses and hurls his mattock at your head. You duck aside, but the pick-like weapon spins past and catches Paido full in the chest. He screams and falls, dying at your feet. Desperately, you try to save him, but the wound is fatal. Anger wells up inside, and you turn to confront his killer, only to find yourself staring into the muzzle of a bore musket. You're gonna fire a musket in this tunnel which just recently collapsed? The dwarf pulls the trigger and you are decapitated by the blast. Wonderful. It may be some consolation to learn that your killer did not escape unpunished. The shockwave of the blast brought down the tunnel ceiling and buried him alive. Well, that's some consolation, I guess. He got what was coming to him. Death 35. Alright, well, at least we found a way to avoid the Hellghast. Just don't go in the mine. I think this book has a bit of an excessive number of random strangers who will just kill you for no real reason. Which is, not great writing. I don't know. This book is maybe one of the weaker ones that I've seen so far. Because it hasn't always been like that. Like, sometimes people have selfish or ulterior motives, but the writing sort of makes it kind of hints at what they're up to or gives you options, but like here, come on, what was my option? I just walked in and he kills me. For what? For entering the mine? It's a mine. People enter the mine. Alright, well, dead. Alright, please give me combat skill. 2. Wonderful. Well, at least we know how to avoid the Hellghast, so we can do that. Alright, so if we're avoiding the Hellghast, we'll take curing. Craftsmanship. Divination's really good, but let's try something different this time. Let's go with animal control. I mean, one day we might actually get to the jungle that's in the title of this book, and you would think that in a jungle, animal control might be useful. And so would craftsmanship, actually. So we'll take animal control. I don't know if we'll ever get to this jungle though. Alright. So take the bow, quiver, rope, lantern, potion. No. I keep forgetting. I don't want the potion. I'll take the fire seed. Okay, starting again. We have, like, a way to get at least to, I think, this road here. The fortune teller tells us we should really be going through Module Forest. But we haven't really seen an option to turn and do that yet. Alright. Let's get my coffee. Okay, come on. We have spent a lot of deaths here, haven't we? This could be the record number of deaths? I'm not sure. It's probably close. Alright. From the top. Alright, so we go on the road. We go to the inn. We buy the food. We talk about the sister. We go there. We ignore the monks. Just ignore all people, full stop. That seems to be the key. Go to the ferry house. Take all this stuff. Broadswords and quarter staves are like not used much. Right. Alright, and then we can actually board the barge. No, because the barge will take me right into the city, and we just do not want to go inside that city. So let's don't take the boat. Let me go here. Answer the riddle. Do not show him the pass. Camp out on the plane. Alright. Okay, we're here. So if we stop at the cabin, we end up murdering that person. But then we do end up with a bunch of silver. So it kind of works out. So should we do that? No real downside to it. He was probably not paying his taxes anyway, so he deserved it. We don't have this skill. Oh, bollocks. If you don't have divination, then you don't know he's behind the door. So and then we have to fight him. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Well, he doesn't have much health though. And after 2 rounds, we get 3 combat skill back. Alright, well, we might win this. Not too bad. What are we on? Oh, we're on 8 HP. Alright. Rip 36. Not this time. We actually beat him. We had -8 for the first 2 rounds, but then it went up to -5 from that point on, which is not too bad actually. Because we were surprised. Now we can just steal all his silver. Give me all that silver. I want more silver. I don't know what we're going to do with this silver, because it's not like we can even own that much money, but... I like if this game let you kind of like invest money in a bank or like... or buy assets like property and stuff so that you can have a source of income for later books. We'll use that. Use that. Okay, and then take as much silver as we can carry. Right. Don't go into the mine, because the idiot dwarf in there just fires his gun and kills us both, because he like collapses the tunnel. Continue up the valley. Oh man, they're really making us eat a lot. We've had to eat like 3 times in the past, like, few hours. The track continues along the rock-strewn valley floor through a thicket of stunted trees and climbs slowly towards a ridge of hills. Their peaks worn smooth by countless years of wind and harsh weather. You stop briefly at a babbling stream to allow your horses to drink, and your rumbling stomach reminds you that you are hungry and in need of food. When the horses have quenched their thirst, you continue your climb to the ridge. You soon reach the crest and stare down on a sight that sends a shiver down your spine. In the distance, you see a pall of dense black smoke rising into the sky. By the way, Wugger, are you in the upcoming race, the Zelda race? On Struggle R. Oh no, wait, that's the 3D Zelda, isn't it? You only do 2D Zeldas. Ocarina of Time, isn't it? Alright. So, at its base, a fortress wall and a cluster of cottages are feeding the greedy flames. Ciada burns. To the north of the doomed town, an army of black-clad troops covers the hills. The black wolf-head banners of Ogier sway on long poles, fluttering grimly above the ranks of the merciless horde. Along the track, a great procession of men, women, and children come towards you, some on horseback, some in carts, and some with bundles of possessions clutched to their soot-blackened chests. They stumble forward in silence, their eyes filled with terror and despair. A soldier, bleeding from a wound to his head, rides past the crest shouting, "Turn back! Turn back! The armies of darkness are coming!" It is impossible to continue along the track northwards. The dirt road is blocked with refugees from Ciada, and the Ogian horde are poised to launch an attack from the hills. Only 2 courses of action are left open to you. You can turn back along the track, or you can ride west and across the hills towards the Mordor Forest. Well, that's what the fortune teller told us was the best option. The forest, Mordor Forest. So let's go through the forest. You and Pyda wheel your horses around and follow the crest of the ridge. Expertly, you manage to steer them down a steep bank of loose shale, and then on at a brisk pace along a dried-out gully. Soon the gully becomes a stream of sparkling water, fed by an underground spring. A rumble, like the sound of a distant storm, warns you that the vast army of Zegron, war chief of Ogier, is now less than 20 miles away. You follow the stream until it enters a long corridor of towering trees that descend towards the bank of a swift-flowing brook. Yeah, no, I expected you wouldn't be doing any 3D Zeldas. Let me just check. It's Garlips, Kramit, Kylo, and Marco. I wonder if they'll do a Majora's Mask ever. Like, I think they're proposing to do Ocarina of Time again next year, but they've done Ocarina of Time every Struggle R. It would be nice to change it up a bit. I think Majora's Mask is a really interesting one, especially for Archipelago, because it's kind of mixing in with the whole time travel mechanic. I think the time travel mechanic. I mean, to be fair, Ocarina of Time sort of has a time travel mechanic as well, but that's just a simplistic version where you can switch between adult and child. But Majora's Mask is a lot more complex because you can control time fluidly, and a lot of events happen at certain times during the day. I am going to do Majora's Mask sometime, maybe in a matter of months. Because it seems really cool, and also the ship of, what is it called? Somebody's built an engine that you can play like a really upgraded version of Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time on PC, like high resolution, high frame rate. Ship of Harkonnen or something. Apparently, it's released in 1.0 recently. So like, if anyone is ever playing Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask for the first time, I think with that engine it would actually be a really good experience. Right. Might be interesting to play that. I can't really go back to the N64 Zeldas because of the frame rate. Yeah. I think this even gives you like mouse control and stuff in the menus, and maybe even with the camera and stuff. Like, it's I'm not sure, but I mean, visually it looks really good at the very least. The Mordor Forest, says Paido, a note of trepidation in his voice. It was once a wondrous forest, a place of light and goodness. The trees grew strong, and the birds and beasts were the fairest of any forest breed. But the Mordor has grown dark and dismal of late. The Danarg encroaches, feeding its sickness to the soil, and poisoning the saplings and the creatures that dwell there still. It is a doomed forest, doomed to become part of the Danarg swamp. You remount your horse and cross the brook. As you climb the opposite bank, you notice a set of freshly made tracks in the soft earth. Isn't it, like, in the grand scheme of things, Ocarina of Time is the book where the whole series basically splits into 3 different timelines? Is it Ocarina of Time, which is the turning point? I think it's like, depending on which canon ending you get to Ocarina of Time, is that basically all the other Zeldas fall into one of 3 timelines that stem from Ocarina of Time. I think that's how it works. It's like, if you succeed, then you go down one whole timeline of different games. If you fail, then you go down another timeline of games, which includes like some of the older games as well, like A Link to the Past, which I believe comes after Ocarina of Time, like, in terms of when it's set. And then there's like a 3rd timeline as well. I always thought they're totally independent. Sounds like a fan theory. I think it's a combination of a fan theory, but there is some sort of vague truth to it, at least within certain kind of like series and pairs or trilogies of games. Or at least there is a clear theme to some of the games where it's like the world is okay and Link is just kind of enjoying himself, like games like I don't know, I don't really play many Zelda games. And then there's certain games which fall into the theme where the world was destroyed and everything's horrible. And that's supposed to reflect like the one where you actually fail Ocarina of Time and Ganon actually takes over the world. We do have pathmanship. Let's go down this path. At first you think that the tracks are those of a black bear, the paw prints being of a similar size and depth, but a closer examination changes your mind. These prints were left by a biped, a two-footed animal that walks upright. You have never before come across tracks like these. Judging from the size of the prints, you would be happier to avoid the creature that made them. You urge your horse up the steep bank and across the fallen branches that litter the trail beyond. Less than a mile from the brook, you hear the sound of rushing water. The track bears north, and you see a roaring waterfall cascading into a rocky pool, its surface lost in a cloud of fine spray. A huge tree has fallen across the pool, creating a bridge, and the track leads straight to it. You are halfway across the tree bridge, looking down at the swirling spray and foaming water below, when a ghastly howl rings out above the thunder of the waterfall. You look up and stare slack-jawed at the creature that is advancing towards you across the tree bridge. Oh my. The creature gives a strange snickering cry as it slowly edges nearer and nearer. It is a huge, pear-shaped beast with a hunched back and a white lizard-like head. Awkwardly, it shuffles upright on two large hairy paws. At first glance, it looks as if two totally separate creatures have been joined together at the waist. The lower half is covered with a coarse, spiky fur, and the upper body is pale and hairless, heavily veined, with long, sinewy forearms. It raises its snout to savor the smell of your frightened horse and opens its fanged jaws. If you have a bow and wish to use it... do we... like, is he actually hostile? Okay, he seems to want to eat our horse. I don't really want to engage in combat. Like, he's probably... I don't know. Well, it looks like he's going to eat our horse, so... But we don't want to... If we get into actual combat, we're kind of screwed. Maybe we'll be able to scare it off with our bow. We'll try and use the bow. Your horse is panic-stricken, the tree bridge is too narrow for it to turn around, and Paido's mount is so close behind that you are unable to back up without risk of sending them both over the edge. And the arrow misses its mark by several yards, streaking into the forest behind the creature. There is no time for a second shot. You shoulder your bow and make ready to draw a hand weapon as the beast closes into attack. Fuck, well... -8. Side screener would actually help you. The slimy stench of the creature drives your horse wild with fear, forcing you to dismount and advance along the tree bridge to meet it. Suddenly there is a fearful cry as your panic-stricken horse careers backwards into Paido's mount. He fights to keep control of his own frightened horse, but the panic is infectious, and with a crack of splintering wood, their stamping hooves split the edge of the tree bridge. You watch with horror as both horses fall headlong into the watery abyss. Paido leaps from his mount as it falls, grabbing hold of the edge of the splintered wood. but it is wet and you can see his fingers slipping. Instinctively, you move to save him, but the stinging lash of a clawed paw reminds you of the creature you must face first. Right, this is a... Right, we'll use the... Oh, we could have healed before this battle. We can't heal now. We'll use the potion to increase our skill. -6, which is not too bad, but... He's got 50 health. Ugh. No. Dead. We need good combat. Like, we just can't avoid combat. I probably shouldn't have shot him with the bow, to be fair, but... I mean, he didn't even look like a savage creature. He looks... He might even be able to talk. Maybe try talking some sense into it. Yeah. I mean... I would have chosen an option like that, but the option it was presenting to me was whether to shoot the bow or not. So I was like... Yeah, I probably should have just not shot the bow. But it wasn't clear whether it sort of meant whether you want to use your bow or whether you want to use your hand weapon, but... Alright, try again. 6? That's enough to fight him, at least, if we need to. So we can actually take combat skills then. Weapon mastery, sword, bow. Sword, and let's take quarterstaff, because we actually get a free quarterstaff from the fortune teller. We take curing and hunt mastery, because that gives us the combo, which gets us a +1 combat skill. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Right, well, money is not too important. Take the bow and the quiver, rope, lantern, and a fire stick. Right. We go on the road, stop at the inn, buy the food, talk about the sister, ride east, ignore the monks, go to the ferry house, speak to the fortune teller. By the time I've done all these different paths, I'm going to be able to speedrun this game, seriously. Take the quarterstaff. Oh no, take the quarterstaff. All of this stuff. Can't afford the boat. Don't put there. Do that. Answer the riddle. 3. Don't show him the pass. Camp on the plane. Should we kill the guy in the cabin? We do have decent combat skill now, so it's probably not a bad fight at all. Yeah, go on. I want his silver. But ratio 3. Easy enough. Hooray! Silver. Now we can just use the potions. We're rich! Alright, now go up the valley. And now we go west through the forest. Oh, we don't have partnership this time. Breaking and entering, murder, theft. Yeah, well. There were no witnesses. So... you never know. There may be a page later on that says, if you murdered the guy in the hut, turn to this page. So we don't have partnership this time. Basically the same thing happens. Alright. Let's not shoot him. Let's try and reason with him. We just fight him anyway. I should have just shot him. Combat ratio 0 is alright. He does have 50 endurance. Let's do a couple of hits first. Oh, that's pretty good. Anafeg is his name. We're on 23. Okay. He's dead. Well, for once, he started it. The foul creature howls its death cry and topples over the edge. Before it is out of sight, you turn and run along the tree bridge. Your hand outstretched to grab Paido's arm. Just in time you save him. A moment later, and he would have joined the Anafeg and plummeted into the spray-filled pool. If only. If only we could get rid of Paido. No, we're never getting rid of Paido. He's like a cockroach. Cockroach partner. For a few minutes, you stare silently at the pool below. Nothing stirs in the seething waters to record the loss of your horses or the passing of the dreadful Anafeg. All three have disappeared without trace. The distant thunder of battle pervades your thoughts, prompting you to leave the tree bridge and move deeper into the Mordor forest. The tall trees become denser, often forcing you to turn your body sideways in order to make any progress. Gradually dense undergrowth turns to a carpet of moss and blue-black lichen, which clings to your boots like mud. A chill overwhelms you as a thick and pearly mist seeps from the cracks beneath the trees. The many sounds of the forest have disappeared to be replaced by cold and eerie silence. I'm guessing if we haven't cured our disease by now, that would just mean we die. And the disease comes from the innkeeper who shoots you for daring to eat your own food in the inn instead of buying his food. He doesn't even tell you to put the food away, he just tries to kill you with a poisoned arrow. Twilight is approaching. As the sky above darkens, a black bird flies among the upper branches, emitting a shrill cry, which sounds unnaturally loud in the silent forest. It settles, stares at you for a few minutes, and then flaps away. A little later, you stumble upon a clearing. Shafts of ghostly moonlight pour through a gap in the black canopy of leaves, revealing a mound of earth rising out of the forest mist. You are both exhausted after the day's events and agree to stop here to rest. Kaido takes a gold crown from his pocket and tosses it in the air to decide who should take the first watch. Heads or tails, he asks, the crown clenched in his fist. I mean, I don't know. Do I even want the first watch? I mean, we have a watch either way. Alright, heads, I guess. Kaido reveals the coin. You have chosen correctly. You decide to take the second watch and settle yourself down for some much needed rest. Grey earth is soft and spongy and provides an excellent mattress. You pull your warm Kai cloak around your shoulders and slip into a deep, dreamless sleep. 4 hours later, you take over the watch. Your vigil passes uneventfully, and as the darkness of night gives way to the gloomy grey of dawn, you wake your companion and prepare to set off once more. Your sense of time slips away as you trek through the seemingly endless expanse of bleak grey trees. Slowly, you become aware that you are on an incline, and as your passage becomes steeper, you notice large outcrops of pitted volcanic rock. We're approaching the Danag crater, says Kaido, his quietly spoken words echoing loudly through the eerie forest. Suddenly, you recall the words of Lord Rimoa during your period of preparation in Elzian. The Danag occupies the crater of an ancient and massive volcano. Once it was a lush jungle of fertile vegetation, but now it is a cancerous wound that poisons all who dwell there. By noon, you have climbed to the lip of the crater and begun your descent. Gradually, the tall, straight trees of the Mordor forest thin out, giving way to twisted trunks and stunted saplings as the land sinks deeper and deeper. Imperceptibly, the forest ends and the swamp begins. The ground is softer, and tall black rushes appear in clumps around misty pools of stagnant water. From tortured husks of trees hang thorny vines, as tough and as cruel as sharpened steel wire. So thickly are they entwined around some trees that they have strangled them, leaving empty coils where the trunks have rotted away. The stench of decay fills your nostrils in the humid yet cold air. You wade through ankle-deep slime for nearly an hour before reaching the edge of a huge murky pool. Whirls and eddies disturb its surface, warning of the creatures that lurk below. Tutelary means you've survived 2 books in a row. Like, I don't think we're ever going to get that. These books are getting harder. Skirt to the north or skirt to the south? I don't know. Go north. The withered trees are grouped more densely around the northern edge of the pool. A ceiling of vines crisscrosses above your head, and creatures slither against your ankles as you wade through the foul-smelling mud. Progress is very slow. Suddenly, fearful screams, like the baying of rabid dogs, sound from the mist-enshrouded trees ahead. A host of creeping creatures, each an arm's length taller than a man, rise from their hiding places. Black water drips from their corpse-green hides, and their toad-like faces betray their evil intent as they slither and shuffle towards you. We do have a fire seed. Let's use the fire seed. Snatching the seed from your pocket, you throw it with all your strength at a crawling lizard beast that is slithering towards you on its belly. You watch with dismay as the fire seed bounces off its soft, fibroid skull and plops harmlessly into the mire. Cursing your luck, you unsheath your weapon as the creature rears up to attack. Really? You are faced by a monstrous reptile. Its webbed, claw-tipped hands are poised to rend you in two. Well, we shouldn't throw the fire seed at his belly. We should throw it at the ground. Or a tree or something. Nearby. Combat ratio -2. That's not too bad. Alright, we've got him. Oh, now we have to fight this thing. You leap over the twitching body of the Gzlorg and help Paido, who is being forced perilously close to the pool's edge by 3 more of the growling swamp creatures. You strike from behind, breaking the back of one with your downstroke and opening the side of another as you swing your weapon clear. The back? I mean, these creatures don't even look like they have skeleton, like vertebra. Aren't they amphibians? Oh wait, no, amphibians do have spines, don't they? Yeah, they do. Paido falls, clutching an arm deeply torn by needle-sharp talons. His attacker turns on you, darting its head towards your throat with lightning speed. Its jaws gape wide as it lashes out with a sticky tongue, spraying your eyes with stinging saliva. Instinctively, you bend forward, your hands wiping the spittle from your face, a reflex action which saves you from the creature's grip as it leaps forward to strangle you. Suddenly, it lets out a gurgling croak and falls forward with a thick splash. You stagger back and open your bloodshot eyes to see it lying face down in the mire with Paido's dagger embedded in its back. "Look out!" screams your companion, as the last of the Gzlorg attacks you from behind. Oh man, wait, how much health have we got? 21? Let's do a couple of turns first and see what happens. Good. Very good. Very good. Okay. See, I was debating whether to use the +2 combat potion, but we don't need it yet. The Gzlorg gurgles its last breath and falls dead, writhing briefly in the mud before becoming still with an uncanny abruptness. You turn to Paido and drag him away from the pool's edge, where his bleeding arm is attracting a crawling horde of hungry leeches. You leave the pool and press on along the muddy trail, glancing back once. No sign remains of the dead Gzlorg. Their bodies have already been claimed by creatures of the pool. You tend to Paido's wound, using your basic high knowledge of healing to prevent an infection from taking hold before continuing deeper into the swamp. The ankle-deep ooze that borders the pool gives way to firmer ground, and you arrive shortly at a place where a tree bearing blood-red fruit overhangs a pool of clear water. You stop here to rest and dislodge the tiny leeches that are feasting on your legs. Paido climbs the tree to scan the horizon. He carries with him a star guider, homing device invented by the Elder Magi to enable their flying ships to navigate in the dark. It is sensitive to the vibrations of collinium crystals. The spire of the Temple of Orida is a solid collinium, and the Elder Magi have set Paido's star guider to home in on the vibrations emitted by the spire. Why didn't you guys just fly your flying ships to the temple then? By following the direction of these vibrations, you should find the lost temple. While Paido is busy adjusting the star guider, you decide to take a closer look at your surroundings. Examine the red fruit, or examine the clear pool. We look at the pool. Something's probably going to pop out and grab us. Let's have a look at the fruit. The red-skinned fruit is the size of an orange, and its peel is similar in texture to orange peel. Your Magmakite discipline reveals to your experienced eye that these fruits are not what they appear. The tree is dead and incapable of producing fruit. They are carnivorous animals that have taken on the outward appearance of juicy ripe fruits in order to snare the unwary. Just leave them alone then. When Paido finally climbs down the tree... Well, that's a cool concept. A creature that disguises itself as a fruit. His face betrays his anxiety. What is wrong? You ask impatiently. There is no signal, he replies. I've scanned every direction with the Starguider, but it can detect no Corlinium signal. It isn't damaged, of that I'm sure. It's simply as if the temple has disappeared. You take the device from Paido's hand and climb the twisted tree trunk. He shouts instructions and you set the Starguider into operation. But why am I doing this? Like, he's already tried. Why is it going to be different if I try? Scanning the distant horizon and waiting for the telltale click that will reveal the direction of the lost temple of the Elder Magi. But Paido is right. There is no signal, and without a signal, there is no hope of finding the Lost Stone of Orido. You're about to abandon the search and jump down from the tree when you see something on the northern horizon that you hadn't noticed before. An island of red volcanic rock rises out of the mire. One of 4 flat-topped islands grouped in a diamond close to the eastern edge of the crater. Perhaps the temple is on the other side of that island. Perhaps that is why the Starguider will emit no signal? I mean, you'd still get vibrations, wouldn't you? It's not like it's a radiation, which... is blocked by volcanoes. Wouldn't vibrations still go through? Well, I don't know. Maybe they would disperse within the volcano. Alright. Perhaps the temple is on the other side of that island? Perhaps that is why Starguider will emit no signal? You climb down and ask Paido what he thinks. He stares to the north and ponders the problem. Yes, it is possible, he just says thoughtfully. It is just possible. Hope returns and your spirits rise with the expectation of finding the lost temple beyond the Isle of Red Rock. You set off without delay, anxious to cover the 10-mile trek before the sun sets and darkness engulfs the Denarg. For the most part, the swamp mire is firm underfoot and the inhabitants pose no problems that cannot be solved by a few shouts or well-placed weapon blows. But as the sky darkens and you draw nearer to the plateau, the going becomes more difficult. A carpet of vines, thick with mold, covers a surface of muddy holes and hollows. Often a seeming puddle proves to be a bottomless fissure. Progress becomes so slow that you fear that you will never reach the island before dark. Oh, wonderful. Paido is leading the way across a tangled mat of barbed vines when a wave disturbs the muddy ooze below. Suddenly, the great head of a silver swamp python bursts through the rotting creepers and raises its tree-thick coils high in the air. Awesome jaws set with double-tiered fangs tower above you, glistening in the fading light. A drop of venom falls from the fangs and sets the quagmire boiling. Uh-oh. Oh, we have to... Animal control is not enough. We have to be a primate. Right, before I proceed, we have a chance to take a potion. Maybe... Oh. We're almost full of health anyway, so... Go on. Combat ratio 0. 60 health, though. Oh, no! Reading ahead. The great snake flicks its tongue and lunges forward, intent on consuming you both in its massive jaws. Owing to the swiftness of its attack, you do not have time to use a bow. Unless you possess the Magnified discipline of curing and have reached the rank of primate. You always need these higher ranks. Double all endurance point losses you sustain during the combat due to the snake's venomous bite. Is there anything we can do at this point? Oh, we still got this. Alright, now's the time to take it, if any. So that gives us +2. Okay. Okay. What are we on? 9 health. Yeah, we really needed that +2. Without it, I think it would have been too close. The arrival of the swamp python frightened away the crawling denizens of the mire, but now they are returning to satisfy their curiosity. Hordes of slithering lizard beasts gather at the edge of the floating morass, inching their way nearer as they assess your strengths and weaknesses. Relentlessly, you push your way through the soggy vegetation until you reach the jagged rock wall of the island, urged on all the way by a hissing chorus of swamp creatures. Long streamers of moss-covered vines hang down the red rock wall in huge numbers, inviting you to climb onto the plateau above. After the uncertain ground of the swamp, the hard, jagged rock is a welcome relief. You make good progress, reaching the top just as the sun is sinking into a sea of scarlet mist that shrouds the eastern Danarg. In the failing light, you discover a trail that winds northwards through the knee-high foliage. A full moon bathes the island in its ashen rays, maintaining perpetual twilight. The trail enters a dense thicket of trees, and you can see that it leads to a settlement of crudely made huts. Dark shapes move between them, human once, but far from human now. Agreeing, says Pyro softly, but with fear in his voice. The man-beasts of the Danarg. Come, let's get away from here while we still can. Swiftly and silently they leave their huts, creeping like cats stalking their prey. They move on 2 legs, although they appear better suited to loping on all 4s. You turn and run for all you are worth, but this is their territory and they know every fold in the ground. Swiftly they gain on you, forcing you to stand and fight. Try the fire seed again. And this time it should work, shouldn't it? The fire seed bursts into flames, blinding your pursuers with its sudden glare. You seize the opportunity to dive into the thick undergrowth that borders the track. Pyro follows as you crawl towards the cover of the trees. The hysterical howls of the Gagrim fill the night as you scramble through the foliage. By chance, you stumble onto a track that skirts around the edge of the encampment and disappears to the north. It seems to be deserted. No. Let's go into the undergrowth. The undergrowth stops abruptly at the edge of a gorge. A gust of chill air wafts up from the yawning blackness as you totter on the brink. Suddenly, you are hit in the back and propelled into the yawning chasm. Hido, who is following closely on your heels, has rammed into you and sent you tumbling over the edge. As you plummet to your doom, you hear his scream of anguish echoing in the void. Your life and your quest end here. Hido! He literally just bumped into me and knocked me off a cliff. Oh my god, Pydo. Pydo is the biggest liability. If there was a way to get him dead, I would so do it. No! Hope we go back to being a lone wolf next book. Alright. It seems you just really need combat skill. Like, there's fights you just can't avoid. Let's see. 2 again? I mean, I wouldn't normally pick the combat skills if I have a 2. But we can't really avoid those fights, so we'll just try for it. Right, so far we haven't really made any good use of the bow. Well, there was an option. Alright, so it can be useful. Alright, so we use Curing. Pump Mastery. Like before, that's really the best combination. Okay, so the Fire Seed is actually quite useful, so we'll take that. And the bow and the quiver and the rope and the lantern. Here we go again. Alright. Go on foot. Go to the inn. Buy some food. Talk to the sister. Go east. Ignore them. Go to the ferry house. Talk to her. Take everything except the broadsword. Ignore the boat. Answer with the number 3. Don't show in the past. Camp on the plane. Maybe we just don't stop at the cabin this time. He's not a hard fight. But if I can avoid fights, I should. So we just won't. Alright, then we go west into the jungle. And then we fight this thing. Okay, use the bow first. There's a chance. Ooh, yes. Your arrow enters the creature's mouth, transfixing its tongue to the back of its throat. It gurgles and chomps on the feathered shaft, its claws fingered scrambling to pull it free. In its frenzy, it loses its footing and slips, throwing open its arms instinctively to steady itself. Its claws ensnare your horse's bridle, and as it topples from the tree bridge, it pulls your horse and you over the edge. Uh-oh. So if you add 2 to it, it's impossible to get 0-1, isn't it? So if we've got Hump Mastery, we're safe there. And then it dies. Okay. And then, what did I call last time? I called Heads. That seemed to work out, so we'll do it again. And then, so if you go north, you have to fight all those things. Let's go south then. Froth of green scum marks the edge of the pool, and you use it as a guide to avoid stepping too close to the water. On your left, the pools become more numerous, until you find yourselves walking a narrow strip of mossy mounds flanked by dark water. By the gods, grumbles Pido, slapping insects from his face. How I wish for some good solid ground rather than this spongy muck. As if in answer to his request, you see a spur of volcanic rock looming out of the mud ahead, forming a causeway above the pools of greasy water. You follow it, and soon it splits in two. One spur disappears to the west, the other continues to the south. I don't know. South, I guess. Oh my. Less than 100 yards along this jetty of volcanic rock, you encounter a cloud of choking marsh gas. A pair of green, spindly-limbed creatures sits on the causeway, dangling their legs over the side and sniffing the stinking cloud with apparent delight. When they see you approaching, they hiss and bare their fangs menacingly. Leave them alone. Let's go to the west spur. Eventually, the volcanic spur slopes back into the stinking mire, and once more, you find yourselves ankle deep in cold black ooze. A chilling howl drifts across the swamp from the north, and for a few fleeting seconds you can hear no scuttling, slithering, or any other small noise. Okay, we're here. Alright. Don't bother with the red fruit. We'll have a look at the pool. The water looks so fresh and clean that you are tempted to use it to wash away the swamp grime that clings to your face and hands. Why are they asking me about the size screen? No, I'm not touching that pool. Alright, then this happens, and then this, and then we have to fight this. Alright, now is the time to use the combat skill. Damn it, we're gonna die. Dead! We should probably have gone for those other creatures instead of this. This Python's quite tough. Well, I mean, it's not terrible. If we get better combat skill next time, I can comfortably fight it. So we're on 38 deaths. Oh man, this book. Alright, what have we got? 1. Even worse. Come on. Why? Weapon mastery, bow, sword, quarterstaff, spearing, hunt mastery, bow, river, fire seed, rope, lantern. Alright. Do this all again. Go on the road. Go to the inn. Buy some food and ale. Do that. This is the same thing every time, and there's no real RNG into it. We'll ignore the cabin. Go west. Alright, we have to use the bow. Nice. Nice. And then he dies. Cool head. Should we try calling tails? Go on and try calling tails. Ida opens his palm to reveal the small gold coin. It shows heads. Bad luck, he exclaims with a grin. You take the first watch. He settles himself down on the mound of spongy earth and is soon asleep, snoring softly. You sit beside him, your eyes scouring the black spaces between the ghostly grey trees. The first half of the night passes uneventfully. In need of rest, you're about to awaken Paido when you sense something moving in the shadows off to your right. 2 tiny pinpoints of light blink in the darkness. You draw your weapon expecting an attack, but you can no longer see the eyes of the shadowy creature. Paido wakes and takes over the watch, but the lingering feeling that you are being observed makes you uneasy and disturbs your rest, or whatever. And then we definitely want to go south, because that avoids the toads. So if we go south, we meet those creatures. Try that. Use the fire seed. You hurl the fire seed and it strikes the jagged rock directly in front of the hissing swamp dwellers. In the next instant, the swamp, the creatures, and the causeway itself are transformed into a searing ball of flame as the exploding fire seed ignites the inflammable cloud of gas. The blast badly burns your face and hands and scorches your tunic. Your body... What the fuck? Your body has shielded Paido from the blast, and he has escaped serious injury. He tends your raw, blistered face and bandages your hands with strips of cloth torn from his undershirt. Your injuries are severe. They reduce your combat skill by 5 points for the duration of this adventure, and permanently reduce your score by 3 points in future adventures. We're like permanently burnt. I mean, if this avoids the serpent, if we manage to get to the next book like this, we'll probably die anyway, and then we'll get on will be unburnt. So, let's see where this leads. The causeway comes to an abrupt halt, its jagged edge overhanging a sprawling tangle of reeds, marsh thistles, and black moss. The pools of dark water are few, but the hazards are much greater than before. Those patches, says Paido, pointing across the wild landscape, are quicksands. You stare at myriad tan-colored patches where the weeds do not grow. Quicksand. Quicksand is a myth. It's not a real thing in the real world. I don't think anyone's ever died of quicksand. It's literally just like mud. You can wade in it, but you'll float. It's still not very dense. I don't think you actually sink in quicksand. But in this world, obviously, we will. But if we go back to the West Spur, we're going to fight that serpent. So let's go through the quicksand. Painfully slowly, you inch your way across the bog, covering less than a mile in 3 hours. As the sun sets, you find yourself in the middle of a thickening fog and decide to halt for the night and continue at dawn. Unfortunately, the Danard quicksands shift and settle like the ebb and flow of the tide, and during the night you're drawn into its depths to remain forever a prisoner of the bog. Okay, it's magic quicksand, because we were gonna camp here, weren't we? So we weren't in the sand. But the sand came up to get us. Alright, so it seems we have to fight that serpent. Alright. It's been 2 hours. So altogether we've spent like over 4 hours on this one book. Alright, can I... 3. Ridiculous. It's below average every time. Alright. Same things every time. We just have to max out our combat score. Because we have to fight that serpent. I don't see a way around it. During mastery. Alright. So the bow, the quiver, rope, lantern. Fire seeds is useful, but don't use it on those guys. If we pass those guys, we end up at the quicksand, but we should try and see if we can reason with them or something. Maybe they'll lead us to a new path. Alright, go to the North Road, stop at the inn, buy food and ale, do this. All this stuff again. What happens if we turn back along the track? Try it then. Even at this great distance, you can feel the ground shaking as the Ogian army thunders onto the plateau that surrounds the burning town of Siada. You urge your horses down the track away from the crested ridge and make for the stream where you stopped briefly to rest. As you near the stream, a dozen mounted warriors appear, the pounding hooves of their jet black horses churning the water as they race along the gully to your left. Their leader, clad in a fearsome bronze helm, draws his axe. It is the signal to charge. With a blood-curdling yell, they sweep up the rocky bank and come thundering towards the track. Evade them. You steer your horse away from the track and gallop through a tangle of briars and bracken bordering the stream. Your ambushers follow in pursuit, the thunder of their horses' hooves and the clank of their armor echoing in your ears. It is a desperate chase, but the rough terrain works in your favor. After a while, your pursuers pull back and cease the chase. They've decided to go in search of easier pickings to harass the refugees fleeing from Siada. Nice. Yeah, go kill the refugees. Just leave me alone. And then we end up fighting this guy. Damn, now we have to actually fight him. Oh no. Bollocks. We can use this, but it's not going to make much difference. Dead. We're at 40 deaths. Probably like half of them on this book. Alright, come on, please, just give me combat skill. 2! It's been 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. We still have to go with still have to try. Mastery. I will try and talk to those people. They don't like us, but maybe we can talk to them. Alright. Okay. Go on foot, let's go to the inn, buy some food and ale. Let's fight sister. Go east. Oh, take the... Ugh. Take the quarterstaff. Okay, so don't bother. Just go straight to the forest. Alright. Hope we can one-shot him. Nope. So now we've got to fight him. -4. Okay, good start. Come on. Yes! Nice! What were we on? We were on 3 health. Okay, do heads, because that heals us. So we go south. Right, so what are we on? 12 health. Right, we'll go just to see what happens if we approach these creatures. -15? That's worse than the snake. You can evade after 3 rounds of combat. If you have telekinesis and rank of primate, oh, we don't have that. That's 8 points from your combat skill. Wow. So let's read the text. They snicker with malice as you approach slowly, your weapon held in readiness in case they attack. The smell of the marsh gas ties a knot in your stomach as you move deeper into the cloud. Kaido halts. He can go no further. He drops to his knees and is violently sick. The creatures make a sound like laughter and slink forward to meet you in combat. If we can survive 3 rounds of combat. What are we on? 13 health. 1, 2. Nope, dead. I don't know what happens if you survive, but then there'll be the quicksand to deal with. But they're harder than the serpent. Alright, let's see what we get. 9! Max combat skill. Finally. Like, we could even take the boat this time. But then you have to fight the Helghast. Like, if we're ever gonna beat the Helghast, it'll be now, with, like, the highest combat and a decent endurance. Alright, we'll try to fight the Helghast. Maybe you get a really good reward out of it. Alright, so we'll take bow, sword, because you need to use Pydo's magical sword, and a quarterstaff. Curing and Hunt Mastery. Oh. No, take Sight Screen. Protect yourself from him. Alright. A lot of money too. Alright, so take the bow and the quiver. Fire Seed. Rope and the lantern. Actually, I don't want to take the boat. Well, let's see. What happens if we take the boat? If we take the boat, we get a whole bunch of money and a silver box, whatever that does. And it takes us straight to the city. But we avoid the Fortune Teller. Fortune Teller is the one that gives us the Potion of Combat and some extra things. I think better to go to the Fortune Teller. Alright, we'll go on the road. Stop at the inn. Buy food and ale. Do this again. East. We could even fight these monks. No, because we don't currently have a hand weapon. Alright, take all this. Alright. Alright, we're into the city. Show them the pass. We can go to Copperpiece Lane or Hogfoot Run. Hogfoot Run is where the Fletcher's shop is. Alright, we'll go there. Oh, it's the ring. But we can't buy it because he wants one of these things. These are from previous books, aren't they? I don't know where you get Lodestone. We haven't seen any option for it. Wow, carry on. Alright. The Watchtower never actually leads to anything, but we'll go anyway because they say come back tomorrow. Alright. Alright. So we're here. Don't eat the meal. We do have Sight Screen. Don't have that. Alright. Oh, what happened with the bow? Bow doesn't really do anything against him. If we strike the fireball, I think we get hurt. And we lose a weapon. Alright. We'll dive to the floor. Throw the dagger, but I don't think it really does anything. Alright, use Pydo's sword. Alright. -6 is not too bad. Let's do one hit first, see what happens. Okay, good start. 16 to 25. 12. Oh, damn it. Alright, use the potion to increase the combat. We just should have used it at the beginning. Ooh! What are we on? Oh, we're on 6 health. Okay, we got him. Finally, we actually killed him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We've still got the monks to deal with. The Helghast vents a cry of rage and despair as you strike the blow that seals its doom. It crumples and falls, its flesh transforming into a vile green gas. All that remains is the torn and shredded robe that once concealed its identity. Your mind reels at what has just occurred, but you dare not dwell on the fearful implications, for you can make out the sound of feet running down the stairs beyond the locked refectory door. You rush to Paido's side and shake him, trying desperately to revive him. He groans, his head lolling from side to side as you drag him to his feet. There is now only one escape route from the refectory, the hatch in the wall that leads to the kitchens. You lift Paido across your shoulder and bundle him through the narrow opening, but before you can pull yourself through, the door slams open and a rush of monks pour into the refectory. Okay, we don't really want to fight because we don't have much health left. Just go through the hatch. From behind come screams of outrage as the monks stumble upon the smoldering remains of the Helghast. "Stop the murderers!" they cry. "Stop them!" You jump to your feet and scan the room, your weapon poised to strike down any would-be attacker. Fortunately, the place is empty, the cooks having been summoned to the refectory. You sheathe your weapon, lift Paido across your shoulder, and run towards an open door at the far end of the kitchen. As you pass the steaming cauldron of stew, you catch sight of a stoppered vial of clear liquid. You stop to pocket the vial before running through the door and into the corridor beyond. At the end of the corridor are a wooden door and a staircase that ascends to the floor above. So we've got a vial. We don't know what it does though. Just be water. Enter the door or go upstairs? Try going upstairs. At the top of the stairs, you pass through a curtained archway and step into a large prayer hall. The central aisle separates the pews of white wood, which face a golden pulpit with a fascia shaped to resemble a flaming sword. Carefully, you rest Paido on a pew and examine the glass vial you found in the kitchen. Your fears and suspicions are soon confirmed. It contains poison. The clear, sticky fluid is sap from the nadern tree, a substance used frequently by assassins because of its lack of flavor or scent. The monks must have put some of this poison in the food that Paido unwittingly consumed. The sap is deadly, and you must act quickly if you are to save your companion's life. You hear the sound of running feet and the growl of dogs off the leash at the bottom of the stairs. Once more, you shoulder your burden, carrying Paido towards the far end of the hall in search of an exit. Behind a drawn curtain, you discover a door, but it is locked and bolted from the other side. The noise of your pursuers grows louder as they climb the stairs to the hall. You can hide in the pulpit. Fine, let's do that. You climb the steps to the pulpit as swiftly as you are able, and rest Paido in the recess behind its sword-shaped fascia. By chance, his tunic snags on a hidden lever, and as his body slumps over, the lever is pulled to one side. Suddenly, the floor of the pulpit shudders and begins to descend into a secret passage beneath the hall. Carefully, you pull Paido off the platform and raise him into a sitting position, his back against the passage wall. Slowly, the platform rises back into the pulpit. In the silence of the secret passage, all you can hear is the shallow breathing of your unconscious companion. You lift one of his eyelids and note that the almond-shaped iris is fully dilated. Your basic Kai skill of healing informs you that he is in a coma. Please, take his life. We don't want him dragging us down all the time. He literally pushed us off a cliff. You concentrate all your skill on trying to save your companion's life. Placing your hands on his chest, you transfer the warmth of your healing power into Paido's poisoned body, breaking down the toxin by degrees. The treatment is slow and laborious, and it is dawn before you know for sure if your skill has saved his life. Bead of sweat on Paido's forehead is the first sign of his recovery. Slowly he stirs to consciousness, waking from sleep that was so nearly his last. He can remember nothing of the ordeal, and when you tell him what has happened, he shakes his head in disbelief. "A Helghast?" he says incredulously. "How can it be?" The servants of Dark Lord Gnarg have infiltrated this monastery, you reply. They have kept themselves hidden, but I fear the day is fast approaching when they will rise up and wreak their havoc. Already they know our true identities, and I wager they know why we're here. This is bitter news, Lone Wolf, replies Paido, his face etched with worry. We can afford to delay no longer. If Telestria falls to Dark Lord Gnarg before we reach the Danarg, then the quest is lost. You nod in agreement, and as you cast your eyes along the gloomy passageway, you cannot help but wonder if the quest is already lost. With a shake of your head, you dismiss the thought and help Paido to his feet. The passage follows a tortuous path that leads eventually to a paneled door. A raised button activates the lock, and the door slides into the wall to reveal a strange room. Domed and hexagonal, its walls are hung with tapestries depicting strange and grotesque creatures. Numerous plinths stand upon the richly carpeted floor, each supporting a large bowl filled to the brim with a silvery liquid. Cautiously, you step through the secret portal and into this sumptuous chamber. What? Okay. One of the bowls begins to emit a faint humming sound. The surface of its silvery liquid swirls and glows brighter, casting a phosphorescent light onto the domed ceiling. The sparkling mist slowly clears and the strange image takes shape, condensing and forming into something wholly alien, something that resembles the head of a monstrous fly. Its great multifaceted eyes stare down at you, gleaming darkly with black fire, like two huge clusters of evil jewels. Kana Shokja Nadokad Gnag, booms a ghastly, rasping voice. Then with a stifled cry of rage and recognition, the image clouds over and the light fades to a dull glow. The terrible visage of Dark Lord Gnarg has disappeared. By the gods, gasps Paido, shocked to the core by what he has seen. What manner of beast was that? But you do not reply, for you sense that he already knows the dreadful answer. Swiftly you search the chamber. Behind the throne-like chair of chiseled stone, you discover several useful items. Also, set into the back of the chair is a lever. It activates a portal in the opposite wall. The tapestry that conceals it is drawn aside, and you can see a stairway, flanked by torches, descending to a passage far below. Come, says Paido. This room chills my blood. You move to follow him as he descends the stairs, stopping briefly to kick over the bowl of glowing silvery liquid that projected the image of Dark Lord Gnarg. We take the arrows. Oh, a quiver has a limit. Oh, so we need another quiver to take more arrows. Right, the meals. So, what weapons do we have? Bow and quarterstaff, that's fine. The stairs lead down to a vast network of catacombs that stretch in every direction. It would be easy to lose yourself in this maze of tunnels, but your Kai tracking skills, heightened by the pressing need to escape from the monastery, help you avoid the hazards and dead ends of these sprawling burial vaults. Following the sound of dripping water, you discover a circular stone trapdoor in the ceiling. Paido cups his hands around your foot and lifts you nearer the tunnel roof, enabling you to open the trapdoor. Early morning daylight streams into the passage as you lift the slab of wet stone and slide it aside. You have emerged at the courtyard on the north side of the monastery. Two monks stand guard at the double doors of a low timber-framed building on the other side of the paved enclosure. Fortunately, a line of bushy fruit trees that encircles the courtyard provide all the cover you need to avoid their watchful eyes. You crouch in the shadows and watch as the monks leave their posts to enter the building. Minutes later, the doors swing open and they reappear, both on horseback, and ride off through an archway to the right. The courtyard is now empty, but you curse their departure. The horses they are riding on belong to you and Paido. Whatever, let's enter the stables. The stable is full of fine horses, all of them as sound as sturdy as the mounts given to you by Lord Adamas. Paido acts as lookout while you saddle up two black stallions. You're making the final adjustments to their bridles when Paido hisses a warning. 4 monks coming this way! You mount your fresh steeds and gallop out of the stable, scattering the startled monks who had just reached the door. In an act of desperation, one of the monks unsheathes his sword and hurls it at your back. Deadly blade spins through the air with alarming accuracy. Oh god. Oh, Hump Mastery and Divination? Okay, I think we're good. The sword whistles past your head and gouges a chunk of stone from the courtyard arch. You hear the monks shouting and you dig in your heels, steering your horse through the archway and along a narrow street that leads to the quadrangle. Another quadrangle! At this early hour, there are few obstacles to slow your escape as you gallop headlong through the twisting streets of Tharo. It is not until you reach the town's north gate that you finally rein in your horse to a halt. And now we're here. So what did we gain from all of that? Nothing. I don't know if there's some major treasure you could have got by sticking around in that monastery, but that was just a whole massive detour and with a huge fight. So we can just skip all that next time. Alright, so we continue down the valley. Oh, we can kill the guy in the cabin. Why not? We've got good skill this time. Go on, kill him. Oh, we're actually... Okay, we're good. How much silver can we take? Alright, take all that silver. And now go up the valley, eat a backpack meal, why not? Turn here, go west. Or we could have actually fought the army as well, but their whole army probably would just die. Alright, we'll use the bow. Boom. And he dies. And now we'll go heads and go south. Alright. So south avoids the toads. And now if we go west we have to fight that snake. We don't have the combat skill potion anymore. I'll be good. Our skill is good enough. Oh, we've got Pydo's sword. Do we not give that back to Pydo? Alright, Pydo, you don't have your sword anymore. Or your dagger. Alright, hopefully we can beat the serpent. We'll go west. Alright, then pool of water is what's full of water? Side screen. We do have side screen. Your psychic skill reveals that the pool is nothing but an illusion. What you can see is a gossamer thin membrane which reflects the light so convincingly that it appears like water. It is virtually impossible to detect that there is a creature lurking in the hole beneath. Wait, so why do we know there's a creature there? Oh, because we just know that the membrane belongs to a creature? Alright, whatever. Leave it alone. Why are we disturbing the creature? Alright, and then we fight this guy. +2, not too bad. Oh, but it's double all endurance point losses, so it's still pretty bad. We needed to preserve the combat skill potion for this fight. Even with full combat skill. Alright. Ooh. Damn, 10. He was on 11. That could have... If we didn't do that, I think we could have won, but... Alright, just don't go to Tharo. Tharo is nothing but trouble. Tharo. Also, we have to get max combat skill again, because we have to fight that serpent. The only option we had was use animal control. You need the rank of primate for that. Eight. Alright, not too bad. Ooh, and good endurance as well. Alright, so we'll go Weapon mastery, sword, bow, quarterstaff, curing, and hunt mastery. The last time we took sight screen, we don't need that now. So I actually have more combat. Well, the same as before, but alright, so take bow, fire seed, rope. Alright. Yeah. Could actually fight them. How hard were they? Will we get anything out of it? Well, we won't know until we try it. Alright, go on, let's try fighting them. Minus 11, oh god, they were really bad. Worse than the Hellgast. Oh, you need animal control for them. Oh, dead. Alright. Just stick to the original plan. Just go back to the jungle. $43 deaths. Alright, what do we got? 7. Combat skill is getting worse and worse. Alright, curing and hunt mastery. I wonder what happens if we go to the mill. Could just kill the guy in the cabin. I don't think we need the silver. Let's just continue. Right west. Okay, try for the bow. Nope. Now we have to fight him. Combat ratio 1. Ooh, ooh. 2 crits, nice. Pretty good. We'll be at full health for the serpent. Alright, we'll leave these things alone. Right. Combat ratio 1. But double endurance point losses. Let's take a hit first, see what happens. 4-8. Yeah, we'll use the combat. It's +3 now. Nice. Alright, and then we come here. So the fire seed was a good option. Let's do that. Now, if we rush into the undergrowth, we get pushed off the cliff by hiding. So it's not. Alright, an hour passes and you breathe a sigh of relief, glad to have left the Gagrim settlement far behind. You forego a rest and press on along the track until you reach a promontory. What earth is that? Promontory. Damn it, why isn't Thai? A point of high land that juts out into a large body of water, a headland. Oh, it's one of those. That's called a promontory. It's also called a ridge, isn't it? I think a ridge technically doesn't have to be into water. It could be into anything. Like it could be into a canyon or something. Alright. Day breaks, and the view it brings fills you with awe. Perched on this rocky peak, you can see the sheer vastness of the swamp in all its frightening glory for the first time. Kaido activates the Star Guider and scans the horizon, but even before its telltale clicks are heard, your eagle eyes have spotted the glint of the temple's Corlinium spire. To the west, beyond a sea of sickly green-black vegetation, stands the Temple of Ohrido, imprisoned but unaffected by the swamp. The howl of the Gagrim echoes across the island as you make your descent by rope and vine to the wetlands below. We don't even need to use our rope. You reach the rocky base and set off across the mudflats, following the Star Guider's signal now that the spire is hidden by the swamp mist. Oh, spider. Oh, it's the spider from the book cover. Around a pool of slimy water are gathered a group of vine coils, hollow and funnel-shaped like gigantic rusty springs. They support a huge spider's web. There is no sign of the web's maker, although, judging by the size of the rope-like strands, it must be a creature of enormous size. You give the pool a wide berth before finding your way back to where the Star Guider's signal is strongest. A creeping bank of mist rolls across your path, and the maker of the web looms out of it. Kaido stifles a cry as this hairy abomination scuttles towards you, its venomous maw poised to bite. I'd rather evade it, even though we got decent combat skill. We should probably use the potion now, if anything. I'll use the small potion. Try and evade it. You turn and run through cloying, ankle-deep mud that saps the strength in your legs. The gigantic spider scuttles closer, lowering its yellow head ready to scoop you into its maw. If you are to escape this creature, you must do something to distract or delay it. So if we had a meal, we can take instead of like a rope or something. This is the first time we've used a meal for anything other than just like when you have to eat a meal. I'll bring a meal next time. Alright, we have to fight it. Let's see, how much health have we got? 23, 26. Alright, we'll use another of these potions to get to full health. The gigantic spider closes in for the kill, its fangs dripping with sticky black venom and its coal black eyes glinting greedily as it savors your scent. Sure, let's use the bow. Waiting until the last possible moment, you release your arrow, sending it burrowing deep into the creature's eye. It roars with pain, its legs scrabbling the mud as it sways and then crashes down with a mighty splash. You do not wait to see if your shot proves fatal, but shoulder your bow immediately and follow Kaido as he picks up the signal from the temple spire. We didn't even have to roll for the bow that time. After your encounter with the Tarn spider, you are both in need of a rest. Kaido is optimistic that you will reach the temple by sundown if you could avoid encountering any more of the Danarg's hostile inhabitants. Yeah, well... It is late afternoon when you see the Temple of Ohrido rising majestically out of the swamp mists and tangled vegetation. The sight of this towering ziggurat is so breathtaking that you are both stunned into silence as you feast your eyes on its untarnished splendor. Tier upon tier of gleaming white stone, shaped and formed into perfect symmetry, confronts you. Huge foundation slabs support a level carved of golden rock, inlaid and decorated with gemstones. Above that sit strata of precious metals, and then levels made up of crystal slabs whose facets reflect the colors of the rainbow. Upward climb tiers of ruby, sapphire, and emerald that offer up a wedge-shaped spire of pure collinium crystal to the sky. At its base, the swamp has shrunk back as if repelled by the radiant goodness of the temple. The perimeter of lush grass leads to a staircase of solid amber. You follow Paido as he ascends towards a pair of huge triangular doors set into the second level. Everywhere, the glitter of gemstones and the gleam of precious metals radiate a purity unspoiled by the Danag. Paido completes the complex procedures that open the great doors, taught to him by the Elder Magi in preparation for this mission. They part and you enter, stepping on a floor of glistening gold, a floor that has lain undisturbed for 7,000 years. The great doors close with a whisper. Let's make the music a bit more darker. You follow Paido along a corridor of gleaming silvery metal that dazzles your eyes to a hall carved from solid crystal. Icicles of diamond hang from its ceiling and reflect in a floor set with mosaics of 1,000 shimmering squares. Approach the crystal dais, Lone Wolf instructs Paido, pointing to a radiant circular plateau of pure quartz. But even as his words leave his lips, you are already walking towards the plinth, drawn by a strange compulsion. You mount the dais and a flood of golden light pours down from above, bathing you in its warm, cleansing rays. You raise your cupped hands as if offering up an invisible gift, and a tingling sensation runs the length of your arms and spreads through your body, giving you an incredible sense of well-being. A ball of sparkling light is taking shape in your hands. It condenses into a radiant crystal filled with golden fire. It is the Law Stone of Orido. Well, we got the Law Stone already, but we're not going to be able to leave so easily, are we? Restore your current endurance score to its original level. Won't that bring it down? Because we started... Oh, it's fine. Okay. The light fades and you step down from the dais, your senses aglow with a newfound wisdom and strength. Having witnessed the fulfillment of your quest, Paido beams with joy as you return to his side. He congratulates you and bids you follow as he turns towards an archway of silver set into the crystal walls of the chamber. Come, Lone Wolf, we have a long journey ahead of us. We must leave without delay. The thought of returning to the dangers of the Danag fills you with dread. Paido senses your anxiety. Don't look so dismayed, he says, still smiling. This temple will provide the means for our safe return. You will see. Is it just going to teleport us out? Intrigued by his answer, you follow in silence as he leads you through the archway and up a long flight of marble stairs to another chamber, also constructed of crystal but veined with a marble that glistens like liquid fire. It is solid corlinium. At the center of the chamber, its hull resting on a cradle of steel, is a levitron, an ancient skyship. Like everything else that you have seen in this wondrous temple, the craft is untarnished by time. Paido ushers you aboard and prepares to power the craft. A shudder runs through the hull as the engines rise in pitch, and slowly it lifts from its bed of steel. The chamber is built in a spire of the temple, and the roof now slides open to allow the levitron to rise into the darkening sky above the Danag. Paido sets the controls and sets the ship's starguider on course for Elzian. There he joins you at the bow rail for one last look at the Temple of Orido. It glows red in the light of the setting sun, but the shimmering glow is blemished by shadows that swoop back and forth across its tiers. You assume it is just a trick of the twilight, until your ears are filled by a sudden and terrifying shriek. You look up to see a squadron of black-winged Kran swooping down on the Levitron. Kran, the very first enemy of the game. And we've been attacked by them so many times. On the backs of these leathery creatures ride red-robed Vordaks, hideous servants of the Dark Lords of Helgadad. In their skeletal hands they wield staves of black iron which crackle with blue fire. As the Quran screams past, a stream of liquid blue flame pours from its rider's staff. Of course we don't have the summer sword. That means we have to survive 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 books in a row. No, we don't. Huh. The sky screen would help us here. If we can last 7 rounds, we get this option. Alright. The liquid fire tears into the Levitron's rail, twisting and melting the shiny alloy as it cuts into the hull. 2 more of the Krans swoop in and hover above the prow. Their riders leap onto the deck and begin attacking parts of the superstructure. "Stop them!" screams Pydo, drawing his sword. "Stop them or we're doomed!" You leap from the bow and run along the main deck, your weapon raised to strike. I have a feeling if we get... I was thinking this option will be a good option, but I have a feeling it's actually bad. That they destroy the ship. Well, anyway. Alright, well the combat... the ratio is not too bad. Let's try. Damn, we took more damage than we needed to there. Damn! 11 health left. If the combat lasts 7 rounds or longer, do not continue with the combat, but turn immediately. Oh, what? As you fight, the Vordak succeeds in driving its black steel sword through the side of the ship's pressure tank. We need the combat potion for that fight, not the snake, because we need to end that fight within 6 rounds. And we need higher combat skill. This book's really, like, normally you can get away with not having good combat skill by taking other options, but here, like that option, after collecting the Lore Stone, there were no choices. You had to fight that, and you had to beat them quickly. A blast of liquid gas hisses from the hull, freezing the Vordak in its petrifying spray. From above comes a stream of blue fire that ignites the escaping gas. There's a flash, and in a fraction of a second the Levitron is transformed into a colossal ball of flame. Your life and your quest end here. Ah, this book is ridiculous. Okay, I know the path now. But we can't do it unless we have high combat skills, so... Worst possible combat skill. Oh, we might as well just suicide. In this case, we should just try other paths, see if there's some interesting other path that we don't know about. Like, what can we do with this? That last fight will be there no matter what if we get to the temple, surely, unless there's another way of approaching the temple. So, I mean, the only chance we really have of succeeding, we still have to go all in on combat. So, sword, bow, quarterstaff. So if we choose Sai... what was it? Sai... Green. That last battle said that side screen will give us a +2 for that battle. And that's the key battle, so maybe we should take side screen. We got the worst combat skill though. Whatever, we have to try this. Alright, so, I mean, the bow lets us beat the spider without a fight. Fire Seed lets us beat a fight as well without fighting. Meal is actually helpful, so we'll take that instead of the rope. So, take the lantern. Oh, no, we don't need the meal because we have the bow. Spider. Take that. Alright, whatever. Okay, so we go here, go... I'm tempted to see what's at the mill, but it's probably... Oh, let's just try it. Ido dismounts and peers through a cracked window set into the rough stone base of the mill. Looks deserted, he comments, his sharp eyes probing the gloomy interior. How about up there, you suggest, pointing to a platform that juts out from the side. Ido climbs a rickety wooden staircase that clings precariously to the mouldering stonework. Just as he reaches the top, he halts in mid-step. Slowly, he raises his hands above his head. He must be in danger. You watch with bated breath as the point of a spear moves slowly into view, its wet tip glinting dangerously. Man's voice, gruff and demanding, challenges Pido to state good reason for trespassing on his property or to suffer the consequences. Pido answers with a sound far louder than you ever imagined could be made by a human voice. The force of the shout hits the man like a clenched fist, slamming him backwards through the timber parapet. He lands with a dull splash, spread eagled atop a mound of manure and rotting vegetation. Peros power word, explains Pido in an answer to your unspoken question. Someday I'll teach you the technique, Kai Lord. Or if we're here, we might as well search the mill then. Meal. Map of Tharo. Yeah, we're not gonna go to Tharo. Alright. We don't have money for the fortune teller. So... But if we go to... Just continues with Tharo. And now we have to deal with this guy. Alright, we're gonna lose this, but let's just... how many meals do we have? We'll just eat the meals, whatever. Motivation -8. We're gonna lose to this one. We don't even have the potion, so we can't. Dead. Come on, just roll for good combat skill. Give me a 9 and we should be okay. 5. Give it a try. Alright, so do we take side screen this time? So that's useful for the final fight. And the final fight is what matters. Take the bow, the quiver, the fire seed. We don't need the lantern or the rope, just take the potion. We'll take the lantern as well. Alright, so we go back to the inn, do this. We're losing so much health to... Alright, go... No, don't want to go west yet. We can heal if we just waste more time. So we do this, and then this. And then evade them, and this. That lets us heal a bit more. Alright. Now we have to fight him. 0... Alright, whatever. Alright, so we're on 23. That's not too bad. I'm wondering if we should play around with these things. Let's try the red fruit. Oh, we know it's an enemy, but we don't have Hunt Mastery. -2 is not too bad, but we lose so much health. Oh. Dead. We need max combat skill, it's so stupid. I think at this point, it's just a case of resetting for good combat skill. 7 is better. Oh, Quiver, Fire Seed, Potion. Alright, just heal a bit. Nice. So side screen lets us play with the pool. Just do that just to see what happens. Prod it, go on. The edges of the pool roll inwards and smother the tip of your weapon, revealing an egg-like creature lurking in the hollow. Snaky tendril lashes up from a hole in its shell and tries to grip your wrist. It is a non-edged weapon. Can we change weapon? It's a non-edged weapon. The membrane and the tendril hold your weapon in a vice-like grip, and you're forced to abandon it for fear of the tendril coiling around your arm. Oh no. Well, we can't give up the quarterstaff, because then we can't fight the snake. We have to give up the bow. Next time we should bring a broadsword, because it's sharp. I'm sure there'll be a next time. We're not beating this round. Alright, we'll give up the bow. And then we have to fight you. Combat ratio 0. Nice, good start. Good start, good start. Yes! But that's so lucky. Like, how often are we going to get that luck? Alright, but now we don't have a bow to scare off the spider, which is an issue. We use the fire seed here. And we've got the spider. If we try to evade it... Oh. Should bring the meal. Well, we won't lose the bow next time. Combat ratio 2. 52. Mind Blast. Oh, double all endurance point. Fuck. Alright. No, we're not surviving this. Like, could use this potion, but no, dead. Alright, just don't lose the bow because we need it to it just ends the spider fight. Alright. Again. 8. Alright, this is doable. This is doable. Take the broadsword this time. Skill. Curing and size screen. Alright, so take the bow and the quiver and the fire seed and potion lantern. Come on, it's getting ridiculous. It's going on for hours. We're close now. I know the path. It's just we just need good luck on in the combat. Take the broadsword instead of the quarterstaff. Make sure the broadsword is equipped. Sorry, yeah, it is. Alright, should try the pool of water again. Nice screen. Prod it with a weapon. This time we use a sharp weapon. Your weapon cuts through the membrane and penetrates the creature's shell. It emits a shrill noise and the shell implodes, drawing a swirl of dust and air into its rotten core. You step back as a foul stench rises from the hole and wipe away the ichor which stains the tip of your blade. What was the point in that? That did nothing. Alright. Combat ratio 1. Alright. Nice start. It's okay. Nice. 9. Yes! Alright, we have a chance here. And we still got the potion of thingy. So we use the fire seed on these guys. And we're healing for all these points, so we should be back to full when we get to... use the bow. Now we're in the temple. Oh, yeah, it fully heals you anyway. Okay. Now we're fighting them. So we have a higher ratio. We have to kill them in 6 rounds. Right, definitely use the... this. So let's read this again. So if we didn't have side screen, we'd have a -2 combat skill. So yeah, side screen we need for this fight. Alright, let's go for the... Is 2 higher than 1? No, 2 and 1 are in the same column. Alright, fine. 1. Okay, that's 2 turns to kill the first one. Went grocery shopping, any progress? I think I probably died like 4 or 5 times during your shopping trip. Like, I can consistently get almost to the temple, but it's just like... Either I die to the snake. Alright, this is the second time we got all the way to this final boss. Let's put the music on. And it looks like we might be able to do it. but we have to beat them in 6 turns. 1, 2, 3... 6 rounds or fewer. Suddenly, more shrieking Vordaks crash down on the deck. Kaido is immediately engulfed by the red-robed figures. He is outnumbered, but he fights with a tiger-like tenacity. His blue-bladed sword tearing deep into their loathsome bodies. You are running back across the main deck when a new danger confronts you. The Kran sweeps low across the skyship, dropping a cluster of black crystal cubes that scatter across the deck. So divination would help here, but... Wait. Let's just use all my healing potions at this point. $19. $23. Just go to full. Right. Kaido shouts for help. The Vordaks have forced him back to the rail and he is in danger of falling overboard. Oh no! Kaido has been nothing but a liability. Those black crystal cubes, they're probably bombs though. We'll take the cubes. Frantically, you scramble across the deck, collecting and hurling away the cubes as you go. Each cube is vibrating with an energy that is set to rip it apart, and as you cast the last one over the side, you see the others, many of them exploding with dull wounds in the swamp far below. We were so gonna die if we went for Kaido instead. Kaido screams for your help. The swooping Kran rider has cast a large net, smothering his body. The net is sewn with hundreds of tiny barbed hooks, which have worked their way into his skin and clothes, and he cannot free himself without the hooks inflicting fearful wounds. Only one Vordak remains to confront him. All the others have perished on his blade, but he is now unable to defend himself against this creature. He is at the mercy of a merciless foe. You scramble to your feet and rush to save him as the Vordak creeps closer. Suddenly, the Kran rider reappears, gliding low across the deck before hovering over the bow. A length of thin black rope dangles from its saddle, and hurriedly, the Vordak threads it through the corners of the net. You race up the steps, shouting, "For Summerland!" and launch your attack. The Vordak turns to face you, its skeletal features frozen in a mask of terror. An instant later, your weapon shears its bony neck and sends its skull-like head spinning down into the Danag. A ghastly cry pierces your ears, but it is not a shriek of pain or despair, it is a malicious caw of triumph. The Kran beat its massive wings, and the downdraft forces you to your knees as the creature climbs higher into the darkening sky. You stare aghast as the rope closes the net around Kaido and lifts him off the deck. Instinctively, you leap upwards, your hands outstretched to grab the barbed net, but it is too late. The Kran turns in midair and flies off to the north with Kaido, wounded and helpless, swinging like a netted fish beneath its leathery black belly. Just take him, I don't care, I just want to get this book done. Anger and frustration well up inside you as you helplessly watch the Kran and your captured companion disappear beyond the horizon. Gradually your anger gives way to sadness as you ponder his fate and wonder if he will ever survive this cruel abduction. You pray for his safety, calling on the spirits of your ancestors to watch over and protect him, and as if in answer to your prayer, you feel a sudden calm engulf your senses. The power of the Lawstone, transfused into your being the instant it appeared in your hands, has greatly increased your intellect and awareness. With confidence, you know that Kaido will survive his ordeal, and that one day you will meet and fight again side by side. No, please, no! I never want to meet Kaido again! He screwed up everything! The return voyage to Desi is a swift but lonely journey. The Star Guider ensures that the Levitron stays on course for Elzian, and as you cross the canal which encircles the city, a pilot skyship arrives to escort you down. During the voyage, you have discovered how to control the Levitron, and now, as slowly as you approach the landing platform of the Tower of Truth, you disengage the Star Guider and make a faultless landing. Lord Ramoa and the High Council have gathered to greet your return, and upon hearing of your successful quest, their hopes for the future are renewed in spite of the sad news of Lord Kaido's capture by agents of the Dark Lords. The High Council listens avidly as you recall your treacherous journey through Telestria, the perilous trek across the Danag, and the wondrous discovery of their lost temple. When finally you have completed your account, they applaud and pay tribute to your courage and daring, their faces beaming with pride, but despite their joyous greeting, you sense that something is wrong. They seem distant, as if their minds were preoccupied with the solving of a difficult and perplexing problem. You ask Lord Ramoa if all is well, and he replies, "You have grown in perception, Lone Wolf. Many things have occurred since last we spoke, and although your quest for the Lawstone of Horrido has succeeded, the peril of our age has grown ever more deadly. The Dark Lords have now waged open war throughout Magnamund, and many lands have fallen before their Jack legions. Telestria has been overrun. So too have the Stormland nations." What, all that in like a couple of days? Sommerland stands firm against the armies of Dark Lord Knag, but she has lost her southern province of Ranon. Not Ranon! All the bandits were in Ranon. This shocking news fills you with an urge to return to your homeland, yet to do so would defeat the Magna Chi quest. Lord Ramoa bids you follow him to the chamber of the High Council. Set into the floor is a circular well, brimming with a silvery liquid metal. Ramoa kneels and touches the surface as slowly a vision takes form within the shimmering depths of the pool. It is a fortified city surrounded by rolling hills. You look upon the city of Dahu in the land of Anari, says Ramoa, his voice now solemn and composed. The Lawstone you must find next lies deep below its streets, in an ancient city that was built during the dawn of Magnamund. The vision of Tahu heralds the start of a new and perilous episode in your quest for the Magna Chi. If you possess the bravery and courage of a true Kai Master, the challenge of Tahu awaits you in Book 9 of the Lone Wolf series entitled The Cauldron of Fear. Tahu? Where did he say that is? The land of Anari. Let's see if we can find it on the map. Anari. Anari is what, like the province? Shadaki and Shadaki. Okay. I don't see like a heading. Oh, there's Anari. Oh, Anari is right by our home. So we are headed to Tahu. Here. That's where the next Lawstone is. So we have 3 Lawstones. We need, what, 7 to become like a master Magna Chi or whatever, become the next level of Kai. So they said the Dark Lords have already spread to Ranon, which is here. The monastery, we just had it rebuilt. And I'm storing money there. No, I'm not, because we died. Everything gets lost, even the stuff you store in the monastery. It's really cool that they give you the option to store stuff in the monastery between books. But it's mostly pointless if you just die all the time. We can save the game in the next book. Alright, so this will be next time. Book 9 out of 29, so we're like... almost a third of the way there. And it's getting harder and longer. We don't have a good mix of abilities here. We've got Weapon Mastery, Curing, and Side Screen. So we don't really have any... Side Screen is not actually a good power in general. It was good in that particular book because of the final boss, but in most cases all it does is prevent a bit of damage. You'd rather take something which would improve your combat skill, because that just gives you better dice rolls. Side Scream, yeah. It used to be called Mind Shield. I think next time we'll take the Hunting. So, yeah, the Hunting, because it gives you a +1 combat when paired with Weapon Mastery. Combat is just really important. And we've got high combat right now, so we can focus on combat. That last book was ridiculous. There was too much combat. They didn't balance it well. Like, I don't think... I'd have to look at the flowchart. Like, someone's constructed a flowchart for every book, like show you exactly where you go and end up. But it looked like all paths end up at certain fights, like the Serpent and stuff. You're overdue with your Darkwood stream, by the way. Well, I was planning to do it today, but now I've overrun with this. I guess I'll have a bit of time before I want to watch the Wheel of Struggle race, which is... Yeah, there's probably a bit of time to squeeze in a bit of Darkwood, but I was hoping to do like a big stream of Darkwood and maybe finish it if I happen to be close to the end. I'm not even sure about that. But yeah, I'll do one today, even if it's just a short one. And that will lead into the Zelda race, which is in like 5 hours time. It might not be long away, maybe in only an hour's time or something. I don't really need to do much, but... what's after that? We've got Trials Evolution on Thursday. I need to figure out when we're gonna... Well, we haven't decided when we're gonna do Titanfall. It's probably gonna be in January at this point. I don't know if I'll have good internet then. Alright, we'll see. Echo the Dolphin. That's not how you spell Echo. They've spelled it E-C-H-O, the Dolphin. Right. So, what did we carry forward? We've got some arrows, so we probably don't need to take more arrows. We've got fire seeds are pretty useful. We've got a pass, which we didn't want to use. Lantern, elixir, yeah, nothing really special, but we'll probably die anyway. Although we've got good combat, that's usually the most important thing. It's annoying that that comes down to a dice roll. Like, they could have made like a point buy system, like in D&D type things, where you just invest points in things. Because that last book, literally, you would have to reset until you rolled the right dice. If you rolled 5 combat or like or lower than that, then I don't think you would be able to beat it. But to be fair, I think that was just a badly written book, that last one. The whole point of being a lone wolf is you kind of use your skills to get around combat when you can. And pick the fights that you have the upper hand in. Yeah, the whole point of being a lone wolf is being a lone wolf and not having bloody Pydo follow you everywhere and push you up cliffs. That was the downfall of that game, Pydo. Maybe there was an option right at the beginning to, like, have him die or something. But every page was written with Pydo in mind, so there'd have to be a whole different half of the book, which is devoted to no Pydo. The flowcharts, let's see if we can bring up one right now. Because they're quite an impressive thing to look at. Kai Chronicles flowcharts. It probably took whoever made the flowcharts. It probably took them many, many hours to make. But nowadays, I bet I could just ask ChatGPT to analyze the book, and it could probably do it in like seconds, because you just got to look for the turn to page so and so thing. But you got to be able to interpret the sentences. But ChatGPT can manage that fine. And it's in dot format, which is a very popular format for flowcharts. So that's easy to write scripts for. Yeah, no. Yeah? No, not that. Ah, yeah. No, these are not the good ones. Where are the good ones? Flowcharts dot. Ah, here. Oh no, that's not even for Lone Wolf. Oh yeah, it is. It is. No, this is the source code. Just give me the flowcharts. All right, forget it. I'll find it for next time. Wait, this is it. This is the forum that I found before. It wasn't here. Here it is. Here it is. Number 8 was the one we just did. Here we go. Jungle of Horrors. We can zoom out. So that is the flowchart of the whole book. Red ones are combats. Whoa, whoa, there's way more there than... Oh, alright, so if we take a look at this. So if we went to the inn, that's where we went. And if you don't buy the food from the inn, then you just immediately start fighting Boran. What's this part? This is the mill. Oh, this is it. Oh, no, this is when we go on the barge. So let's have a look at this. Was there a way around? Okay, so then there's these puzzles. Oh, interesting. There was a way around the fight. Oh, no, no, no. You fighting me either way. Okay, so there was no way around the Necromancer fight, and that was a pretty tough fight. So that was unavoidable. If we went... So that was the monks. If we went to the city... What's this? Born the Bower? Yeah. We never even met him, whatever that is. What is 204 then? 204 is the quadrangle. 204 is the quadrangle. So no matter what you do here, let's see. Is there anything? Okay. Oh. Hang on. So those lead to the Helghast. Wait. Those lead to the Helghast. That's if you go to the temple. If you go elsewhere, you end up at the Helghast. The Helghast. Yeah, no. You can't avoid the Helghast. The only way to avoid the Helghast. And then you got to fight the monks. And you got the hunting dogs. Does it lead to anything good? Like, at the end of all of this stuff? Like, 347 takes you out here. I don't think there's anything good actually comes from this. Waste of time. But what we did was even though we had the pass, we just pretended we didn't have a pass, and then we managed to basically skip the whole town That's the way to do it. That took us here. Rogue Miner. This is where we murder the guy in his house. And then this is quite linear from this point on. If we go... Okay. Wait. How do we avoid the Ragu? No. That's the other thing. No, the Corcuna, the snake. How do we avoid the Corcuna? By having the animal... Oh no, we couldn't have that because we weren't high enough rank. This is the snake. So if we wanted to avoid the snake, we'd have to not only have animal control and rank primate, but we also have to pass this dice roll. And you got to get 7, I guess, which is like, if you don't have invisibility, then there's a very low chance. And then you'd get past him. See, that was actually probably the hardest fight. And then all these lead to... Oh? There was a way around the Gagarin? Wait, so here we could have gone... Oh, no, the Gagarin. The Vordak. No, you can't avoid the Vordaks. You have to fight them. See, that's forcing you into fights. You can't do this with low combat skill. There's just no way. In 6 rounds. Look, the whole flowchart compresses here. It just wasn't really good. It wasn't linear. And then all this leads here. Fine. As if we didn't pick up the cubes. Alright. That's the first time I actually analyzed one of these flowcharts. It's interesting to see how it's designed. Like, by comparison, if you look at the very first book, this is actually a bit more non-linear. Like, there's a bit more branching and cross, like, weaving. I feel like he made it a bit more non-linear here. And then it converges here. And then it spreads out again. This was actually quite a big book. Alright. $47 deaths. Half of them on this book, probably. Oh! I almost closed the tab down. Let me save. Alright. Alright. That's it. Took us total 5 hours or something. Alright, see you next time, Lone Wolf.